I handle this? How should I route this? Do I go around the Mimics area like 7 times? What's the best way?
Yeah, exactly. That is very, very true. We are going to get started, though. Synack going to Link's house, gets a heart container. Kirito5, EpikRainjer, basically everyone else going to Sanctuary, getting only 20 rupees for their trouble. But it looks like they're going to be potentially setting up a hula hand trick, I imagine, because that seems to be a very popular play this early on. And I seem to be wrong with all 3 of them.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say it looks like one of them skipping, but it looks like all of them might be skipping, which is kind of, oh wait, here we go. Synack's gonna do it.
Okay, Synack's doing it.
Yeah, this is my favorite opening for Keysanity because with all the items in the pool, the keys, the compasses, the maps, you have a much less chance of getting bombs or anything else you need money. So Houlihan will give you the 225 rupees. Guaranteed, and then you can get the vendor item, and then you can just buy some bombs, and it's just easy.
Yep, we got a small key to the Skull Woods in the forest tree area, and we have just a map on the lumberjack tree, so nothing important there.
So the interesting thing about the Skull Woods keys is they're actually not particularly useful, but you do need both of the Skull Woods small keys in logic to defeat Mothula. So if you, for instance, know that Mothula is a pendant, and you don't have both of those keys, you can maybe, think about whether you want to go do it, because who wants to fight Mothula?
That's very, very true. And here we have a map to Eastern Palace. Actually kind of helpful. For those who don't know, in Keysanity, the maps and compasses have a different feature. The maps in particular will give you intel on what dungeons are pendants and crystals. You can actually not tell otherwise, not even by the music, unless you actually obtain the crystal or pendant in question. So it's just kind of a way you can get more use out of those dungeon items. The compasses, on the other hand, they give you item tracks when you're inside that particular dungeon. May not be as helpful for these runners, but if you're just starting Keysanity, that is a pretty useful feature, I'm not going to lie.
And we see a Synack down here with these bushes below the grove, where there are 2 bushes that have a 50-50 chance of giving you a bomb, which is usually pretty helpful to just go until you get at least 1 bomb, then just blind, hit the race game blind, and just get whatever item it is, because again, with all the items in the pool, it is a good chance that it's going to be something you need. Oh, and we have Bo in the well.
And looks like Synack is also going to check the race game as well. Honestly, a good play in Keysanity, because with the added keys, there is a larger chance for something to be here. So a lot of runners will opt to go ahead and check this out. Just a heart container on the vendor, and we do have a map at the race game, so that's not too bad. I mean, it's intel. It's valuable to have.
Yeah, I never turned down an early map.
Okay, we got some even more items right here in the Kakariko greenhouse. We also have a library check, too.
The big key to Ice Palace, which is not strictly necessary if you know the bomb jump, but it is nice to have so you don't end up orphaning that big chest and leaving it behind. And apparently we did get a map check from one of these guys that I missed, and we're seeing that Eastern is the red pendant.
Okay. Blue mail was also in the greenhouse as well, so another item that's not necessarily required, but nice to have. It will get them more defense, especially early on in the run.
So the big question is, are there going to be any items pointing them anywhere in particular when they get out of Kakariko? They have that bow, which would normally point to Eastern, but again, that big key that they don't have. So the bow doesn't actually get them a whole lot at this point.
Yeah, that's true, but it does give them an item or a weapon of some kind to work with, at least for the early parts of this seed, and that is definitely nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, I'm so used to doing swordless that even if I got the bow, I'd probably just, space on it and be like, I'll just bomb everything.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
My favorite to get, if you don't get a sword early, is the hammer, because obviously you can just, kill everything in like 1 or 2 hits, just once you get used to the hitbox anyway.
Yeah, it's a very good tempered sword replacement if you don't have it. And we have our first key to Dark Palace in the back of the greenhouse.
I think that was actually the second one, but I can't remember where I saw
Oh.
the one. Okay, there was.
Okay, yeah, you're right. There was another one. My bad. But yes, there are a lot of Dark Palace small keys. There are 6 that you can find in the overworld, and because of the potential to soft lock in Palace of Darkness, our runners are going to want to get as many of those as possible just to potentially get through the rest of that area if they need to full clear it, just in case. Or at least get most of the small keys anyway.
And the interesting thing about the 2 small pod keys, if they find the hammer and get to some Dark World access, the bow doesn't get them much in Eastern Palace, but with the hammer and the bow and 2 small keys for Palace of Darkness, they can actually get a lot of items out of pod without having to burn that front door key, which is very helpful.
That is very, very true. That is something I like getting as well.
The question is, how trolly will the hammer be today? Looks like everybody's just sort of retracing each other's footsteps right now, so I wonder who's going to break off first and where they're going to go.
Yeah, there are honestly a lot of options at this point, and they honestly could go a number of different directions. There's obviously South Shore, there's Hyrule Castle, there's the Eastern Palace area. So yeah, there's a number of places where they could go. Looks like Synth is immediately going to the South Shore.
Yeah, there's quite a few items down here. The dam, the mini Moldorm Cave has 5, Ice Straw Cave. Or I guess if you want to be different, you can swing left and go to Agina's Cave for that one item. Sometimes people fold that in with the dam to make it a less painful check.
I like to see people who have the kind of the power glove head in that direction, at least this early on, because then they also get some more rupees if they've had some kind of rupee starvation in the early parts of the seed. They're doing all right now, but still wouldn't hurt to have some others if you just can't find anywhere else.
Yeah, that is one of the least painful spots to farm rupees if you have the gloves. If you don't have the gloves, then you're kind of limited, and it's not great. We see our first bottle in the dam, so sick kids on the table now.
And we also see a nice amount of rupees down here as well. Maybe that trip to that rupee cave may not be required.
Yeah, they're not getting too bad on the rupees today, even with I don't think anybody else Houlihan yet.
No, I don't think. I think only Synack is Houlihan, so I don't think anyone else has.
Lord of the Synth taking on these mini Moldorms with bombs, which can be a little tricky, mostly for the one in the middle, because he'll just run away from the bomb and get in your face when you're trying to like figure out where he's going to go.
Oh, but yeah, remembering that he does have that bow, so honestly, pulling out the bow might be a better decision for this room, just to not waste some bombs.
Yeah, at least for the one in the center, like I struggle on hitting the ones on the sides with the bow, but the one in the center for sure, because he's the worst one.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see, you got a big key to Tower of Hera, 50 rupees, a piece of heart, a map to the Dark Palace, and the Pegasus boots. Ooh.
Now that's a nice find. Dashing everywhere. They don't have a sword, so they can't. They got to be careful not to dash into any enemies. But speed is nice, and it opens up another spot for them to check.
It does, and they're just, overall just a really, really great and fast item to have.
And Lord of the Synth demonstrating why not having a sword with boots can be a little tricky when he's running into those enemies there.
Mm-hmm. And you got to be really careful on this beach, because there are those crab enemies that they have blue mail, so they'll only be dealing 1 heart of damage, but that's still 1 heart of damage when they don't have very much.
Yeah, those crabs are pretty erratic too, so it's very hard to be careful and not get hit over there.
We also do have a Hyrule Castle play from EpikRainjer, so we have 2 different paths. Oh, so the Moon Pearl and Ice Cave, that is a good find.
Alright, so no skipping the Ice Shroud Cave today. At least they have boots to dash over there pretty fast, though.
Yeah, exactly. It is kind of unfortunate, though, that Synack did skip out on that, though, at least for right now. We have a green palace, green pendant in dark palace.
Oh, the plot thickens. I suppose the good news with pod as a green pendant is, in order for it to be logically required, you do have to find every last one of those pod keys, so the odds are a lot lower that you will need that green pendant than you would if it were, say, desert.
Yeah, a green pendant means they don't necessarily have to complete it. That way they could maybe not rush Helmasaur right away, and then they can just kind of use the keys on the other doors throughout the Darkness Palace and only complete it if they find out they have to.
Yeah, Zaphoid makes a good point in chat. They got the bow super early, and both bow required dungeons are pendants.
Oh, wow. Ooh, that is very interesting.
Here's the bow. Technically, you don't need it for a long, long time. No, but who are we kidding? They're probably going to have to kill the Armos Knights at least.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we have our first item from the Eastern Palace from Synack. We have the Power Gloves. That's another Dark World access item.
Alright, we're just one away, so is it going to be the mitts or the hammer?
It's kind of interesting. In Keysanity, I've honestly been seeing the Titan's mitt before hammer in most cases, and I feel like before I started playing a lot of Keysanity, it was the opposite of that. Maybe that's just my luck of the draw, though.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell. I do see mitts. I have seen mitts a lot this week for access. Well, the money's just rolling in now, so they might be okay without hula-handing today.
Well, hey, Synack has a lot of extras for potions if he ever needs to dip into those.
Yeah, I never hate having potion money because potions are my friend.
Chat pointing out that has Lord forgotten that he has boots? Honestly, like, that just kind of happens sometimes with boots. Sometimes, like, you get so used to not having it for a certain period of time that you almost forget that you have them, so you may not be using them in all the optimal places, but I'm sure he'll remember at some point.
Yeah, it could be remembering his experience on the shore and just waiting for a sword to doesn't want to dash into things.
Right, exactly.
So what do we have? Bonk Rocks and Sick Kid right now that are just about the only things left in Zora now with the glove.
And even though it would not be required by logic right now because of no lamp, they could also check 2 potential items at Death Mountain, too.
Oh, and Synack immediately proving that I was not paying enough attention because nobody's done the backup escaping.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, no one has done this yet. Let's see what we get. Oh, there's the lamp I was talking about, and the hammer, and a Quake medallion. Wow.
Alright, so we've got Dark World access, well, you know, collectively.
Yeah, we have Dark World access, we have no more dark rooms, and we also just have a potential medallion we might need. That's very, very good fun.
Yes, I'm a very big fan of Early Lamp because it just doesn't happen to me that often, and I'm just I still need to learn a lot of the dark rooms, so I am always a fan.
I believe I also saw a bottle on Hylia Island, if I am not mistaken.
Yes, you did. Looks like a B-Torp.
Of course, it always is.
Well, Crab's giving out arrows. That's pretty nice with the bow, I suppose. Free ammo.
Yeah, especially when you get the bow this early. That is a pretty nice gift to give out.
So we got, ooh, Kirito getting sniped by Azora. So we got a fake flipper to Hobo. Are we going to see Azora play? It looks like we might.
Yeah, you do gotta be careful when you're doing this fake flipper strap, though, because the way this works, if you get hit when you are doing the fake flipper or water walk, it'll basically take you out of the fake flipper state, and if you're swimming, you'll immediately die because they don't want you to get soft locked. because it takes you out of the state. It just like it's trying to put you back in water, which you can't logically be in. And yeah, possibility for either of those two things, it'll just waste a lot of time.
Yeah, well, the good news is he wasn't all the way up by Zora, so there's a little less time wasted. We see Synack taking the old man back since he does not have that Moon Pearl yet, so he's still looking for his progression. Just a piece of heart, and he's going to go check out Spectacle Rock Cave right now, probably.
And while EpikRainjer gets a Zora item, I did see there was a big key on the Zora ledge, so that could come into play later on.
Yeah, I imagine they'll have to come back for that.
Yeah, fake flip rain with the Moon Pearl, so you can also do the water walk and get them items in the waterfall cave. There's only one item you can't get using those strats, and that is the ledge item. You actually do need flippers for that, so they will have to come back with flippers later.
Does give them a little bit of intel. Oh, the hobo had cape. I missed that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Synack, is he going back to Ice Rock Cave now, maybe? He needs to.
It looks like that is where he's going, and that would be a very, very good call.
Meanwhile, we have EpikRainjer over in Sasha's hut and heading towards his glove, and then he'll be able to get his Dark World access from the back of Escape, and Kirito is still trying to fake flipper, I think. And we see LordoftheSynth in the Dark Room in Eastern. Without a sword, this is a little trickier. We'll see how he does on it.
Gonna need to be careful of those anti-fairies in the next room. And oh, he takes the death.
Yeah, this can be a little hard to pull off without a sword to light your way, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Now he's probably thinking if he wants to, yep, he is going to try it again, so he is going to go for it.
So meanwhile, Synack, who initially skipped the Moon Pearl, is in fact the first one with Dark World access, and he might be heading towards Hype Cave right now, it looks like.
It is really nice having the boots for the Zora section here, but you do have to be very, very careful you don't hit anything.
Yeah, with all those Zoras popping out everywhere, I'm a little... It's a little dangerous. It's easy to just accidentally bonk into one of them too, as opposed to even just getting sniped by the fireball.
And actually, the first thing we're going to see here is we are going to see a 5 and 6 crystal check, which we have the 5 and 6 crystals on Swamp Palace and Turtle Rock.
Turtle Rock as a 5/6 makes the Pyramid Fairy a much less likely thing to happen, since you need all 4 Turtle Rock keys, among other things, for that to be in logic.
Yep, exactly.
So that's either really good news for them or really bad news, I guess, depending on how it shakes out.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see, ooh, Cane of Samaria from the Hype Cave. And we have 4 other items, 300 rupees, a piece of heart, a heart container, and a big key to Eastern Palace.
Oh, look. Could it want them to possibly kill that pendant boss?
Yeah, exactly. That fully puts all of Eastern Palace in the logic now, because he did find that lamp earlier, and of course they've had the bow since the very beginning, so...
We'll call that semi-hype cave, since nobody really wants to actually do a pendant dungeon. True,
and I mean, at least they got the Cane of Samaria out of that too, which it will be required, so...
Yeah, we'll call it half-hype.
Half-hype, that's good. Okay, we're also going to see the Haunted Grove item. We have... Ooh, Red Ruby. Or I should say the Dark World Haunted Grove item, anyway.
Yeah, Stumpy not feeling too generous today. LordoftheSynth's about to get his hammer and his Dark World access, and his lamp, and all the goodies in the back of Escape. And Synack's going to give us our first look at the digging game. We'll see what we get. Oh, and the first dig.
First dig for a big key to Turtle Rock. Oh, boy.
The best of digging games.
And digging game is honestly one of those locations that can be easy to forget depending on how you do that first Dark World kind of exploration. Because if you go kind of the Kakariko route and you end up getting the Titans met, you may be prompted to do like the frog side quests and all that other stuff, and you can't actually do the digging game when you have like any NPCs with you. So
yeah, whenever I have the Titans met, so I want to do that. I usually go down and do the digging game and then go back up for the frog, because that digging game guy, he's real rude about that. The followers, he's not a fan.
Yeah, even if you leave him off screen in the next screen, like he still won't allow you to do that. So
yeah, some people get tripped up with the chest because it's still technically following you, even if it's on a different screen. And the only way it gets reset is if you mirror or go into a dungeon, and then it'll disappear. But otherwise, you are stuck with that until you deliver it.
Okay, and LordoftheSynth is actually taking a slightly different route for his first Dark World dip. Going to actually start with Skullwoods.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Synack's just taking all the signs and going straight to the Armos Knights. He's just gonna go kill him. So at least, what was that? The flute, or my eyes deceive me?
That was the flute. Our first item in Skullwoods is the flute.
Well, that's pretty handy. I was gonna say this Skullwoods isn't too terrible if you have like the hammer, because you can sort of fend off the Gibdos with that. I prefer it with a boomerang personally, since you can stun them with that. But you know, they've at least got a weapon to deal with it.
That's always a weird thing. The Gibdos can't be stunned by the hook shot, but the boomerang they can be stunned by. I always found that weird.
Yeah, the bomb-throwing Cyclopses, the Hinoxes are the same way, and so are the Tektites on Death Mountain, you know, those jumpy crab things.
Right, yeah.
Alright, so we just had bombs in the big chest of Eastern, it looked like, and we'll have to wait a couple more minutes to see if these Armos Knights are going to pay us out. Meanwhile, LordoftheSynth is in this really fun room, which is slightly easier if you have Kane, which unfortunately he does not, because he didn't go to Hype Cave first.
Yeah, it's at least nice to have some item that can do damage to those Gibdos, because it's really annoying doing this run with no item whatsoever that can actually hurt or stun them at all.
Yeah, I can't even do it without a weapon. I just avoid it because I'm not good at dodging those guys. Some other stuff, yeah, but the Gibdos are pretty. They just have weird patterns.
Ooh, small key to Turtle Rock.
So for Turtle Rock, they need 3 keys in order to fully complete it. 4 keys according to the logic, but most of the time in practice, you can just steal a key from that pokey, and then you just need to find those 3. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, it's still too early to say if a early dip to Turtle Rock will happen, but still, you never know what will happen, what items they'll throw at the runners before too long.
Oh, and Sick Kid had a Skullwoods key, apparently, which was the second one, so once they get Fire Rod, Mothula is fully inside the logic.
Well, inside the logic once they get a sword anyway, but yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, Fire Rod and sword. It's easy to take for granted that they don't have a sword for so long.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. To very quickly answer a question in chat, everyone is on the same seed, so all the items will be in the same places for all 4 runners, and it's also important to note that the top 2 runners are facing off against each other, So it's Lord of the Synth versus EpikRainjer, and the bottom two runners are racing against each other, Synack and Kirito5. So all same seed, and there's two different races going on.
So the Armmost Knight's just paying out 20 rupees, so either that was some hardcore bait, or it's 1/3 of a certain thing they may have to do later.
That's very true. And heck, they already have bow, hammer, the lamp, and they've gotten a few pod keys, so, you know, pod is one of the other pendants that could also happen as well, so we'll see.
Yeah, they needed a lot more keys to complete it, but there are a lot of items up for grabs in pod right now with that setup, so I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody going for it soon.
Okay, Lord of the Synth taking the first dip into Thieves Town. First item we have, just 50 rupees, but there are 3 more items they can get right now.
Yeah, without the big key they can't get far, but it's usually pretty easy to just consider this as part of the Village of Outcasts overworld. Just dip in real quick and get those 4.
Yeah, just think of it as like a giant cave to check. And, oh, there's the big key to Ganon's Tower inside Thieves Town.
Yeah, way before they need it, but at least they don't have to hunt it down.
And I was getting ready to ask chat where did they think the big key was going to end up, but I guess I don't have to do that at all. The game did that for me. Ooh, Thieves Town did have the mitts, though. So that is some more progression and some other places they can check now.
Somewhat vanilla, and that is the world is wide open now. Well, outside of the keys access. So, where do you go from here?
We also did see a map on Bumper Cave, and EpikRainjer was kind of dancing around the idea of maybe getting it, which can be a sensible play, just due to the fact that really at this point the only dungeon item the final dungeon item he needs to know is the blue pendant. Once he does that, he can pretty much determine what all the other pendants and crystals are going to be for the rest of the game, because green pendant, Sashrala can tell you, and the bomb shop guy can tell you the special crystals, so you can just assume everything else is just going to be a crystal.
Yeah, that would really be the ideal situation, is just finding that one pendant map as the next map you find, and then you're just done. You can ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
Lord of the Synth is going to go ahead and grab the frog and take him on a tour.
And we're going to see a bonk right here, because you can't actually do the item dashing strat without a sword.
And it appears that he may not be aware of that. It's something that can trip people up.
Yeah, basically the item dashing works only when you have a sword. It doesn't work otherwise, unfortunately.
It's one of those things that you can see people doing but not realize all of the things you need to do that. And when you try to recreate it, you can get confused.
Yeah, definitely. So now he's going to make his dip kind of around the southern dark world, going to check Stumpy's item and also the Hype Cave, and then he'll probably immediately save and quit, take Froggy back home, and then make a new plan from there.
Yeah, it looks like we're doing a little bit more retreading. So waiting on somebody to go to some new territory. So I wonder who's going to be the first one to go to pod, and what kind of goodies are we going to get out of there?
Yeah, Pod definitely seems like a very good place to check right now. Another one that might be interesting to check would be the Mire area. We do have that flute. The Titansmiths within Logic as well, so that could also be another place.
Yeah, that would actually be a good play. Get some knowledge of the medallion, so you know what you're looking for. If it's not Quake and you already have it, and then you're just left with not a lot of options once you do that though. Because they don't have the mirror, they don't have the hook shot, so the other side of the mountain's out, Dark Death Mountain's out. So really, we're looking at like Pyramid, Catfish, Mire, or not, the Mire area, and Pod.
Looks like Kirito went to go buy some potions before he continued.
So also, bets on when we're going to see this first sword. I wonder if we can get it before the first hour. So.
Oh, and Synth just reminded me, although he's not doing it, there is actually another location open up, and that is King's Tomb.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Oh, it looks like EpikRainjer's doing that, though.
And we see Kirito going for his Dark World access now, so he'll be joining the rest in all these Dark World shenanigans soon.
Okay, the King's Tomb item was just a map to Thieves Town, but still, that could be the last pendant.
This is true, and I see a question in chat. Has anybody checked Sick Kid? Sick Kid was checked, and it was a Skullwoods key, which is not too useful for anything.
Also, we have our first sword from the swordsmith of all places. LordoftheSynth, or not, never mind. I went up on the tracker and then all of a sudden disappeared. Oh, it was a rod. Okay, well that's also good.
I mean, as items go, that's pretty nice to find too. So, may not be that sword we're looking for, but it is something.
Okay, Chad is claiming it is the fire rod, and that is a good rod to have. That will give a little more access in different places.
Alright, we got the swag duck activated. Where are we going to go? It looks like we're going straight to Mire. Oh, well, he's going to check the ledge first and then probably go straight to Mire.
Looks like there is a big key there, though.
So that's another big key they'll have to come back to later because they still don't have a way to actually get to it. So that's two big keys that they know where they're at, but they cannot access right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see what happened when I actually saw the rod on these blacksmith right there. It did actually kind of look like a sword. It kind of merged in with the sprite a little bit, so I can see where that mistake happened. But yeah, that was a rod. So fire rod is what they have.
Alright, we got our second swag duck incoming. Then, well, Synack's gonna have to drop off that blacksmith, sorry, before he manages to take a trip.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, let's actually see the Mire area here. A Quake is the medallion for Mire, so they don't have to look out for any extra medallions yet, anyway.
And with the boots, once they get a sword, Mire is also pretty open. They can get... Let's see, do they have the Mire big key yet? I don't think so. So they can get 6 items out of Mire if they get a sword.
They can get 6 items, and there's always the possibility for that big key to be inside Mire as well.
Yep, and we saw our third pod key out of the Mire shed, so that's even more access to pod that they can get. And we see EpikRainjer taking the fire rod straight to the back of Skullwoods. He's going to check this one chest, which is all he's really going to be able to do without a sword.
So one thing, I see fire rod, I see Titansmiths. There is a crazy play they could make as well.
Yes, and they do have hammers, so maybe if they know all the bomb jumps, they could, in fact, jump right into Ice Palace. They have the big key, so they can even get every chest if they know the right bomb jumps.
Exactly. That could be a strong play, but we'll have to see what happens with that. Not many people like going into Ice Palace early, that's for sure.
Yeah, and Swordless it's a little tricky, but I could see the I could see the logic, perhaps maybe wanting them to dip, up to the big chest or something, and then come back later to actually defeat the dungeon, because the logic likes to do things like that.
Right, definitely. Unless I've been mistaken, I think this is also the first Death Mountain play that we're seeing from EpikRainjer.
Somebody did the old man earlier. I think Synack, because he didn't get the
Okay.
move early.
Yeah, you're right. I remember that now.
We're showing Pod Big Key on the tracker. Must have been in the back of Skull Woods, maybe?
Potentially.
Yeah, Mousesticks brings up a good point. We do need flippers for Ice Palace to be in the logic, but some people some people like to ignore that with fake flippers.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what these guys do.
Oh, and there is a small key to Tower of Hera from the purple chest.
So if they find themselves a mirror or a hook shot, they can in fact full clear Hera in one go, which is very handy. Meanwhile, EpikRainjer is going to take on Spike Cave. He's got a cape, he's got a lot of hearts, so he should be able to pull this off.
Just for a compass, though.
Yeah, you hate to see that with Spike Cave. It's so much effort, and you're basically blocked in when you get done. But I think that was probably the last thing he was able to check on the mountain anyway, so...
yeah.
Not a bad stopping point. Meanwhile, Kirito is going to give us our first pyramid look, I believe.
Pyramid can also be kind of a trolley location sometimes. Just a bottle, but it's a bottle. It has potion in it. That would be good to grab, I think.
Yeah, free goo. It's good.
But yeah, it can be a trolley location sometimes, just due to the fact that, well, you may just forget about it. You may get enough keys for pod, and you might want to go just straight to pod without checking the surrounding area. So it's good to kind of get that check in whenever you can.
Meanwhile, it looks like we have two runners who decided to go up to Zora on foot, which is a little different, but I guess if they haven't bought the item yet, they've got it on their mind and they want to go see what's going on. And Kirito is going to show us Catfish at about the same time, so sort of sync, I guess. And we have EpikRainjer making the play for pod, so it's time to see what goodies we're going to get here.
And as you mentioned earlier, like there's like a couple of chests already available to him just based on having the bow right now at this point, so you may not even have to burn any keys yet.
Yeah, if he does the front door skip, there are 5 chests that you can get immediately without wasting a key, and then if you use a key for the back, that's 3 more immediately available, and then you can, I guess, pick a door for your 3rd key, and I guess see what you get. Just depends on what you want to do, because there are actually 3 choices to use that 3rd key on, and 2 of them are worth 1 item, and 1 of them is worth 2 items or 3 items if you have the big key.
Right.
But guaranteed 8 items if they do not choose one of those doors at the end and just decide to save a key.
Yep. It also brings up the question, which one of our runners knows the hammer jump, and will they use it if they do have that skill?
Yeah, the hammer jump is just, something a lot of people are learning. Everybody's not quite caught up on that yet, but you are seeing it a lot more with Keysanity.
Yeah, it's a way you can basically get into an area with 3 chests without burning a small key, and then you can continue to just not use other small keys until you can reach the boss and still clear out all the items.
Yeah, if they do the hammer, if they know the hammer jump with the setup they have, they can clear entirely. They can clear pod entirely of items, all 14 of them, with just 4 keys, which can be pretty handy.
Another key for Turtle Rock.
And for those who don't know the hammer jump, they will need 5 keys to fully clear every item out of pod.
There's the flippers and pod.
Well, there's that Ice Palace logic. It is fully inside now.
Mm-hmm. And they have the big key too, so there's another piece of the puzzle right there.
Yeah, they can go all the way. I think without small keys, it's not going to expect you to go all the way, but with just the big key, you can definitely get, say, everything but the boss, maybe. According to the logic, of course.
Yes, yes, that sounds about right.
Oh, a vanilla big key. So that's where the pod big key is.
Okay, so yeah, pod big keys in here.
Well, with that, I would personally immediately go to the maze with my last key. I don't know about anybody else.
Oh, he's burned on this door, so if he knows bomb jump, he can still get it, but we'll see.
Oh, now he's got a vanilla. Okay. Well, apparently pod has got a lot of its own keys in it today.
That's true, and that's something that can happen. You can find there's 6 pod small keys. They could even be in the dungeon, so that is a place where they could be.
So it looks like he does know the hammer jump, and
okay, let's see that.
I think that, what is that, 3 keys? So yeah, he should be able to get almost every item out of here without even. All he needs to do is get 1 more key if he can pull this jump off. We got Synack taking his trip into the mire area, going to check that medallion and check the mire shed. And LordoftheSynth is coming in the Dark World, going to Skullwoods, it looks like?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Meanwhile, Kirito is taking his first dip into Thieves Town.
Looks like Ranger is having a little trouble with the setup here, but might give it a few more attempts. If it doesn't work, it might be safe to go ahead and just use that key on that door up there. It seems like the game really wants him to go in that area, so.
Yeah, it can be a time save, but if you're having a little trouble pulling it off, you try too many times, end up costing yourself more time in the end. So sometimes it's just easier to burn the key if you're struggling a little.
Yeah. Okay, is this gonna be it?
So I can't quite tell because I'm not very good at this, but yeah, I don't know how he's doing right now.
He got it, and he gets an ice rod for his trouble. And the silvers.
Yeah, there's definitely value over in this side of pod.
And the key to Swamp Palace. Wow.
Yeah, every bit of that was valuable, so that was good.
He's going to take the death right there just so he can get back to the beginning, and we'll see if he decides to get that last 1 or maybe even 2 that he can get right now. Which he might, because at this point, like, pod is a pendant, as we know, so there is a possibility we may not have to come back for this pendant.
That is the dream. It looks like he's going to take his 1 key and open at least 1 more door, but which one is the question?
It'll be, I'm imagining, the big key chest door, because that'll give him that item and the item below, and that'll be 13 out of 14 with the last one on Helmosaur, so I imagine that's what he's thinking right now.
Oh yeah, he did do the harmless away already, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Synack is right on his heels, going into pod. Kirito is about to turn in blacksmiths, and ooh, Lord of the Synth taking a death in Skullwood.
It is really interesting how this seed has kind of like pushed them into that one room of pod where you, even if you burn that one key, it'll still push you to that other room just to get another small key to get into that dark maze. It's just really funny how the logic works sometimes.
Yeah, that safety key in the back there where it's like, no, really, go to the other room.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and yeah, chat pointing out, Synth is actually going to the back of Skull Woods without a sword. This is going to end up not really working out for him.
Yeah, he's going to be disappointed here coming up soon.
So
almost as much as EpikRainjer there with that single rupee.
Yeah. So, here's the reason, chat. Can't open that curtain, not with a hammer, not with a fire rod. Yep, have to save and quit. Cannot. You need a sword at least for that curtain.
Yeah, we see a question in chat. Yes, pod is the green pendant, but they do need all 6 keys to show up before it's in the logic, so it may not be worth rushing for Helmosaur just yet.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been worth it. I mean, there's also a possibility we'll find more pod keys along the way, so... yeah.
Yeah, but those flippers, they just got some real good possibilities for what to do. Dipping into Ice Palace, probably find the mirror before too long and end up in Swamp.
The first thing we are going to see, though, is we're going to see that big key that's on Zora's Ledge. That's where EpikRainjer is going to go first, and I think that's a good play.
Yeah, go ahead and get it before you forget that it's there as soon as you get access.
See, chat, any predictions what you think the key is going to be? I'm going to say that might be the Thieves' Town big key.
I'm going to go with Skullwoods because it likes to drag you out of your way to get keys you don't need.
Yeah, fair enough. Wow. Nice job.
Whoops.
I saw some people in chat guessing that too, so yeah.
That'll be the only time I get something 100% right.
Okay, so it looks like before he's going to take those steps in the Ice Palace, he is going to check the Maya area too. We still do not have a sword yet, and Logic is not pushing us anywhere near one at the moment.
Yeah, Logic is not a fan of swords today, apparently, and we are coming up on that hour mark. We'll see if we can get a sub-hour sword from somebody.
Another thing we're kind of lacking at this point is we're also lacking crystals too.
Yeah, we're running into that that Keysanity thing where it's very unlikely to get crystal before an hour in, and sometimes even a little bit after an hour, it's pretty normal to just get your first crystal.
Yeah. And especially in this seed, like, I mean, we can get an Ice Palace right now, but I believe by the logic, like, we still can't complete it just because we don't have any small keys for it. So...
yeah, they should be able to break their way past it. Actually, they probably need the hookshot if they don't have any small keys either.
Right.
But if they know all the bomb jumps, they can break their way past it. But yeah, logically speaking, they should be able to get to at least 4 or 5 chests, I think. And see a question in chat, no Tower of Hera yet. That is correct because they do not have a mirror or a hookshot to get to Tower of Hera.
Yep, so that's also out of reach right now. Right now it's looking like Ice Palace is really the only play that can be made, at least for EpikRainjer anyway.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if Ice Palace is going to give us something that is going to give us more mountain access, because there are a lot of items up there waiting for us.
Yeah, that seems very likely at this point. He's debating, but he is going back to the the eastern area at the very least.
Doesn't look like he's killed the Armos Knights, so that is
Oh,
probably
true. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
He is going to be a little disappointed in what they have in store for him. Misery Mire would be a play if they had a sword, but they cannot open that yet.
Yeah, they have their correct medallion, but they need a sword to activate that medallion.
So we actually have one runner who just finished in Eastern and 2 more runners inside of Eastern, following these breadcrumbs to their big 20 rupee. Oh, Number Play makes a good point. They do have the cape, and now that they have the flippers, the cape is in logic, so we do have that first chest in Aghadam's Tower.
Oh, that's right. And have we even seen the Dark Sewers chest either?
I don't believe we have, because everybody got Lantern after they were already clear of the castle, so that's 2 more checks right there.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people tend to try to avoid that location until they at least get 1 tower key, so they can at least get the other item in Aghadam's Tower. But yeah, that would be a place within logic right now.
Shout out to our trackers for today, Number Play and the Crazy Dude. They are keeping the trackers updated, letting us know what everybody has. So, shout out to them for helping us on the back end.
Definitely, trackers are often known as the unsung heroes of these randomizer races, and it's true. They do a lot of work. It's a lot of work paying attention to at least 2 screens and keeping track of all the items that different runners have gotten.
And meanwhile, we have Synack making the interesting choice to go directly to Helmasaur. This could be an interesting play. It could, work out badly. We'll have to see.
He at least got the items that he needed from here, so...
He did have 4. He had 4 keys. Did he hammer jump? I missed that.
He might have, but yeah, like either way, he's covered with all the important stuff anyway.
Yeah, if the Helmasaur or the Green Pendant does have anything, or even I guess if we have the pedestal, he will have a leg up for not having to find those other 2 pod keys, I suppose.
That's true. He could be just trying to follow like what he thinks the seed is telling him, that there could be something on the pedestal, and that's exactly what he's preparing himself for at this point, it seems like.
Yeah, that super easy access to the Armos Knights for absolutely no reason is a little suspicious.
Yeah, definitely.
But then again, the pedestal could be something silly like the last Turtle Rock key that nobody actually needs to get.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, getting nothing but a compass, but he does get that green pendant, so we'll have to see what Sasha is holding on to today.
It looks like EpikRainjer is also making the play to go back in the pod as well, so we will also be seeing him play the Helmasaur King as well.
Yeah, I believe so. And with LordoftheSynth already in pod, it looks like everybody's feeling the same general thing right now. Kirito is probably not too far behind him. So now we're just waiting to see who's the first person that is going to go into Ice Palace, because that seems to be about what we're looking at, is Ice Palace.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely the hunch I'm still following at this point, just because of all the other items they've gotten. But yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah, if it were me, I might still check those last 2 castle items just in case one of them's a sword or just, you know, anything helpful, but I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody just go straight there after they finish everything that they can do in Palace of Darkness.
Lord of the Synth and EpikRainjer are actually kind of in the same place, but on different pod visits.
Yeah, it looks like, oh, actually, Epic has 1 key, and he's already got 13 of the 14 items, so he is perfectly fine, good to go. And I guess Synack is, after he just defeated the boss, right? So he looks like he's about to be cleaning the last of the items up too, so they should be good, I guess, without finding those last 2 keys.
Yeah, he just picked up the flippers, so he got those.
This is where the hammering up is coming in really useful, because if he does, if the green pendant is something where they need a green pendant for any reason, then this is a pretty big time save not having to find those 2 keys. Hammer jump is really helpful in this situation.
Yeah, definitely, especially with what just that room gave off anyway. So yeah, for sure.
Right, we see Kirito in Skullwoods. He just got his flute, so he'll probably be pretty happy about that. I can tell you, walking everywhere, even dashing everywhere, can get a little old without some flute for fast travel.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it looks like Synack is heading back to the southern shore area. He is not opting to finish pod here.
I do believe he is making the play.
He definitely is.
Or maybe he's gonna go first.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't think he did the fake flipper stuff earlier, so he's checking all this now.
Yeah, I imagine he might go straight back to Ice Palace, though. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of options left. None of them really do.
Yeah, at this point, I think it's just the 2 castle items we mentioned and the Skullwoods big chest with that big key up there. So I think that's all they have left at the moment.
And I'm feeling mirror hookshot in ice, but I don't know which one I want to call for. Maybe mirror, because that would be, you know, a little extra trolly, because the hookshot makes it a little easier to get around. And then if the hookshot were, and then the mirror would open up a Swamp Palace without the hookshot, which is always a fun prospect.
Yeah, and that small key to Swamp is in play. That has been given out at this point.
It seems like the sort of sea that would put a hookshot like over on the side of the mountain. You need a hookshot to.
Yeah, really. And I guess Epic... Oh yeah, I don't think EpikRainjer's done Pyramid or Catfish, so he might do that too while he's out here.
I think that Synack is going to pick up the... Well, he hasn't been up here at all, has he? So he's going to end up picking up that Skullwoods big key and that lovely piece of heart that it was Azor was selling today, I think.
I believe so, yes.
Meanwhile, we have Lord of the Synth attempting to take on this hammer jump. I wonder who's going to be the first person to turn in this Skullwoods big key and see if that was worth anything. That is actually one more location they could go to, but it is kind of out of the way and isolated. You're really looking for density. I mean, sometimes you can just make a wild play like, oh, it made me come all the way over here for this. Surely it's something.
Right.
Mostly people are looking for density, so I wouldn't be surprised to see people put that off, but it could be something valuable.
It could, and I'm... Just from experience of also running Keysanity, like one thing I'd be thinking of right now is potentially, well, I could come back when I have a sword and I can actually, you know, complete Skullwoods. So that could also be on their mind as well.
Speaking of having a sword, it looks like we have another runner about to be disappointed by the back of Skullwoods.
Ooh. Yeah, I think he just realized right now, right before he even went in that room.
Well, at least he didn't go the entire way. He was pretty close.
Yeah. Yeah, he went to the room before. He didn't go as far as, I think it was Synack? No, it was Synth, I believe he went there.
Alright, where is Synack going? I think he's... Yep, okay, I think he's gonna do Ice Palace for real this time.
Let's hope so. He does have the big key to Skullwood, so he's cleared the Zora area by this point, and yep, he is. He's making the play.
Meanwhile, Epic might actually be going to Skullwoods to check that chest, and maybe the back chest if he hasn't been back there yet, I think.
Oh yeah, that's right, yep.
I mean, that makes it 2 chests if you haven't been to the back, so it's a little more valuable in that case, I guess.
So yeah, we'll see if this item back here, and even the Aghanim item, could be something. It really could at this point.
Oh yeah, Kirito's making the play on the castle, so we get to see both locations at once.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, will Synack go to Ice Palace, or will he continue to tease us?
I think he's just getting some potions, so I hope this isn't a tease at this point.
Yeah, we have Ether in the Skullwood's big chest, which could be a thing. We haven't seen what gets you into Turtle Rock yet.
And a small key to Hyrule Castle.
Oh, is this even randomized?
I don't think so, not with that item.
It looks like he's going to skip out on the Aghanim item, though, so maybe he doesn't remember that the cape will get you that one thing. Or maybe he just doesn't want to fool with it without a sword. That could be possible, too. Or he could just be going right back.
I think at this point, because of Blue Mail, like, he would have to wait a long time for the Death Warp, and he didn't have mirrors, so he couldn't really go back fast enough. I think this would be just slightly faster.
Okay, that makes sense.
Actually, that does raise a question. Does the door to, like, when you go into the dark room, does that door stay open so you can go back? Because I always... Okay, sorry.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You have to have the mirror to go backwards. Like, you can't get... or Death Warp, one or the other.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I always thought that was closed, but I just was thinking about that the other day. Like, is that door closed in this mode? But yeah, okay. Well, EpikRainjer also making that play too, by the way.
Yeah, and Synack's in this room without a hook shot and without a sword to use a medallion. And these penguin guys are kind of annoying without either of those things to kill, so this is not a fun fight.
Yeah, no sword to even use medallion either, so yeah, this is pretty rough, but looks like he made it.
That's pretty good.
Okay, so yeah, looks like Ice Palace was the play all along, because I don't see any progression elsewhere.
Yeah, and so far nothing much in Ice Palace, but we do have, what is it, 3 more chests logically available, and even more if you can just, you know, do the thing that everybody likes to do and just break the heck out of Ice Palace.
Mm-hmm. And I just have a feeling it's going to end up being in the last logical chest that they can get. I just have a feeling it's going to be there.
I don't know. I'm feeling the big chest. A lot of times when it gives you big key early and not necessarily access to the rest of the dungeon, they like to put stuff in the big chest.
That's a fair point.
I'm not a fan of doing all these rooms without a sword, though. I gotta say, Synack's doing pretty good, but I hate some of these rooms. I hate doing with a sword, so having to come in here with just the hammer, yeah, not a fan. Meanwhile, EpikRainjer is gonna go ahead and make that Ice Palace play, and it looks like LordoftheSynth is kind of thinking over his options.
Okay, here we go. We have a bomb jump play right now. Nice. First try.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. And a couple more rooms, and we get to see a little bit more of what Ice Palace has to give us.
Ooh, just barely escaped getting hit by that fire bar too.
Yeah, it's always disappointing when you make the bomb jump and then you just get knocked right back off and have to do it again. Usually when that happens, that's when you start failing the bomb jump, because of course.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Synack is not doing my favorite strat for this room, where you just lay 2 bombs and you dash into the wall to bounce over the penguins, and then they all just explode on the bombs.
Yeah, that is a very nice strat to do if you have the boots. And sometimes, even if you don't have the boots, it's just nice to lay a couple bombs down and just face tank through the one of the ping gators, because that's a valid strategy too.
Okay, we have a new chest location now. Let's see. Book!
Well, that is progress of a sort. Not necessarily progress you want to see, but there is that big key on the desert ledge. Oh,
there's big chest. You got both desert progression items right there.
Right? There's that big chest.
And he really bombs it. Yeah, that's right. You said big chest, so there you go.
So if it were me, I'd go straight to the mountain though, and leave the desert for now, just because there's so much up there that you can get with that mirror.
That's true. Yeah, I think that's a point where, like you said earlier, density would be a big part of it. And plus, I mean, they don't even have the big key or small key for desert yet. So
yeah, although it could just be the desert big key sitting out on the ledge waiting for him.
That's true. That could be there.
The only, well, we already, the only strictly useless big key that we still have is Swamp Palace big key. That's one you don't need to actually defeat anything, but, so there's a lot of choices for that being a useful key up on the ledge.
And Synack jumped straight into Cold Stare here. Hammer Cold Stare.
Yeah, I think he would have had to do a bomb jump to get around to the other side, so maybe he just decided to do it this way first.
So yeah, that was probably the reason why he brought that blue potion, just so he could have some distance from this second phase of the fight.
Yeah, Hammer Cold Stare is something you have to practice pretty good to get down. It can be really tricky, especially with 3 of them still alive, so it's nice to kill a few of them and then give yourself a little breathing room.
Yeah, Hammer has, again, that very awkward hitbox, and there's also kind of a delay with that hitbox too, and Cold Stare just moves very unpredictably sometimes, so...
Well, we learned the third pendant is Ice Palace.
Still no crystal.
Right, and he got the small Thieves Town key, which until they get some Ice Palace keys is technically not in logic, but which makes blind not in logic even if they get the big key until they find some Ice Palace small keys, because you do need the small key for Thieves Town in order to have blind in logic. With the big key, the only thing that is in logic is the Maiden's Chest.
That sounds about right.
But of course, in practice, as with many key situations, people will just tend to break that.
Right. Okay, so Synack is doing exactly what you suggested, going straight to Death Mountain, looking at all those items he has at his disposal. But chat also pointing out he does have all 3 pendants, so a pedestal pull could be in our near future.
Yeah, it's not necessarily in the logic yet, based on the missing keys, but it might just be worth going to just pull it. I mean, you put the work in. That's the only 3 dungeons you have up to this point. I mean, why not go get your reward? Meanwhile, we have EpikRainjer and Lord of the Synth hot on his heels. They're in Ice Palace trying to make it through this swordless, this faux swordless run that we're in here.
Yeah. Oh, Okay, on the Ether tablet, we have the bug catching net.
And the question is, will anybody ever go back for it?
I don't know. I'm tempted to say they won't because they don't need it, but I don't know. There might be, you know, some runners do like their safeties, and that's fine. If you feel like you need the net, grab the net.
They do still have plenty of potion money, so there is that. Fairies are less needed in a situation like that, at least.
True.
Meanwhile, EpikRainjer pulling off that bomb jump to negate the hookshot need did a pretty good job.
Yeah, he's going to be able to get everything in here now because he did that, so Ice Palace, he'll never have to come back here.
Yeah, it's always preferable to not have to double dip Ice Palace because there's like 3 or 4 rooms that you just have to waste a lot of time getting through to get to the bottom, to get to the where everything else is.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of wasting time, Synack's gonna deal with his tile room. Hera doesn't quite get the coffee break strat, so he's gonna have to be careful here.
Yeah, I hope he's familiar with bullet hell games like Toho, because those strats could do very good right now.
It's a lot harder to dodge in that little gate that he's locked.
Yeah.
So far, EpikRainjer just found a bottle with a fairy in it, which isn't bad, but it's not necessary for progression, and a small key to Ganon's tower. So, doesn't look like Synack missed out on much on the right side there.
Now, if he does come back here hoping to find more items, that would be a pretty significant time waste too. So, hopefully,
That
he
it
doesn't
would.
get to that.
Meanwhile, he picks up his 3rd Turtle Rock key, which is all the keys that you need in practice to actually defeat Turtle Rock. And he has both rods. And the only thing he's lacking to get in there is a sword. But there's a lot of chests coming up, so if he gets a sword, I wonder if he will just go for it.
He's already on the mountain, so that could be a play. And
of course, if it's Ether and not Quake, then he might be a little blocked. But
yeah.
the way it made them go after that that big skull woods key, I wouldn't be entirely surprised for the medallion to be Ether for Turtle Rock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
And Chad asks, has the pedestal been checked? The pedestal has not been checked. They just got the book, and they just also got the mirror at the same time as they got the book, so they have not been in the area with the book and the mirror to check the pedestal. So, all in all, we're probably going to get a blind pull before we ever get somebody reading the pedestal.
Yeah, that seems very likely at this point. There's a small key to Ice Palace.
Well, that helps out the logic of the pedestal slash pendant there a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Or also, well, they need those both the small Ice Palace keys in order to get the Thieves Town Crystal anyway, according to logic, or at least one of them in the cane, I think. So that might actually have fixed the logic right there.
Yeah.
So still no sword, but this fight is actually preferable with the hammer anyway, because it's a lot easier to take him down with these 3 hits to the tail than it is to, say, the 5 hits for Fighter Sword.
Yeah, I find that when fighting Moldorm with the hammer, and honestly, it's not really so bad to get aggressive, I think, in this fight, because the hitbox for Moldorm, where he hits you, is really only on the head. So you can be a little more aggressive, but I can understand people being hesitant in that fight, for sure.
Yeah, I tend to avoid him if he's stuck in the corner, because I don't want to get knocked down the middle, but, you know, as far as avoiding the head, you know, if you spend a lot of time dodging blind, you know, you can get a little better at dodging Moldorm. You know, same with Mothula. Like, all these bosses teach you some good dodge strats.
Yeah. Okay, we have our blind pull of the pedestal.
What are we gonna have? Oh.
Ooh.
So much bait. So much bait for nothing.
Yeah, that's just mean. They've been pushing those so hard. Go all through all 3 pendant dungeons just to get that. That's mean game. That's very mean.
Did anybody even check Sahash with
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Because maybe that could at least be worth something. But like all of these, like there was so much bait for the pendant dungeons, and that just didn't pay out even a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Did not at all. So yeah, at about 1 hour and 14 minutes in, we did get our first crystal of the race. Pretty late, but you know they might start coming in a little faster now that the pendant dungeons are kind of taken care of. You can only work on crystal dungeons now.
Yeah, once you start getting the ball rolling a little bit, most of the time you start like snowballing a little bit, and it gets a little easier at the end.
Oh, wow. I think you called that Desert Big Key on the ledge.
Was it? Yeah, left away.
Yeah, it was Desert.
Oh, man. I don't know if I've been spending too much time getting trolled by this game or not.
So that's 2 ledge Big Keys you've predicted in this run. That's incredible.
Yeah, between that and the mirror and the big chest.
Oh, yeah, you did say that too, didn't you?
I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm getting a little too used to what this game likes to do to you.
Yeah.
The scars are singing to me. There it is. 1 hour and 16 minutes in, we have a sword.
Well, thank God for that.
Oh, Paradox Cave was pretty worthless.
Aside from the sword, anyway. But yeah.
Yeah. The big question is it going to be Ether on Turtle Rock? Because if it is, Synack will unfortunately not be able to show us anything in there. But if it isn't, if it's Quake, does he just go in? I mean, I feel like I would probably just go in at this point. There's a lot of stuff that's been checked.
Yeah, that is true. Would be setting up for a really, really difficult Trinex fight if you're not good with the hammer on Trinex, but that could be what the Seed's asking them to do right now.
This is true, but who knows how long it'll be before they get their second sword, considering how long it took them to get the first one.
Oh, the half magic will help a little bit.
Yeah, that's a little bit more incentive. And there's another pod key, so that makes the green pendant a little closer to logic. One more pod key, and that green pendant could potentially have something by the logic.
That's very true.
So we'll have to see which one of our... well, between him and Epic, it looks like they're the only ones that did it, so we'll have to see which one of them decides to turn it in first if they didn't already and we just missed it.
Yeah, Epic might be a little less inclined to, just because Ped didn't pay off and he wants to kind of get back in the swing of things by just focusing on crystals.
Yeah, and then the next big question of the day is where's the hook shot? So, I don't know, Turtle Rock seems like a pretty good candidate for that at this point. Then again, the Seed's been a little mean, so, you know, hook shotless swamp.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, in Hookshot Cave, only this one chest down here can be gotten without hovering, and unfortunately it was just a bomb capacity upgrade.
Yeah, so the mountain, other than this sword, is actually coming up pretty dry. They can get into Mire for 6 chests now. That might be a thing they want to do. And it's Ether.
Ooh, well, we know where that is. It's in Skullwoods, but...
Color me surprised.
And they will have to go back for that. That is a crystal, as we know, so... You know, that's not too bad, but yeah, unfortunately, we'll not be getting that Turtle Rock dip just yet.
Yeah, I had a feeling based on the chain there with that Skullwoods key that it was going to be either. But now they can go to Meyer at least and get 6 items, so that might be the thing they want to do. If if they don't think of doing that Skullwoods big chest check anytime soon.
Also, Meyer and Turtle Rock just swapping medallions for this seed.
Yep, and Kirito's in Ice Palace, going to get his mirror if he can get down to this big chest. EpikRainjer's clearing up Hera, so he's going to end up over at Paradox soon to get his sword. Lord of the Synth, I'm not sure where he's going right now. It doesn't look like he's got the mirror, so hasn't been Ice Palace, I guess?
No, he's been in Ice Palace. I don't know if he actually... I know he took a death in Ice Palace at one point, but I don't know if he got all the items or not.
Yeah, if he got a death, he might have tried to figure out something else he could do, because Ice Palace is really intimidating without a sword, which is what this seed really was forcing you to do, is go in there without a sword. Go with just a hammer, and yeah, with a fire rod, but that's not as helpful in some of these earlier rooms that are not cold stare.
Yeah, not really.
Synack gonna get his semi-vanilla big key over here, just hanging out, waiting for somebody to get some desert access. The only thing that would have been funnier would have been if it were on the torch inside.
Yeah.
So the good news for Lord of the Synth, I guess, is they're going to get their Ether Medallion before they go up the mountain, so once they eventually get on this track with the mirror, they can go right into Turtle Rock if they so desire.
That is very, very true.
And Epic already does have an Ether, so we'll have to see if they go ahead and make that dip. Let's see, they already did Desert, so they're really about out of options once they get over there, so... I feel like that would be the thing that they have left to do, is go into Turtle Rock. Well, also Meyer.
Meyer, yeah, Turtle Rock and Meyer, and they can also see what's at the very end of Skullwoods too, once they get that sword, so...
Yeah, but I don't know, you're right there with all of the tools you need to defeat Turtle Rock. I mean, do you go back off the mountain, or do you just go in while you're there? It seems like going in while you're there would be the bold play of the day.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I've always been fond of the early Turtle Rock play when you can do it, because there's just so many opportunities for stuff to be in there, including items you need to complete it, so it's like, why not take a chance on it?
Yeah, and we do have a couple possibilities for hookshot, but Turtle Rock seems the most likely of those options. Maybe as far as Laser Bridge. 3 keys does open up Laser Bridge. It doesn't open up Trinex, but they can ignore that vanilla big key chest and get to Trinex and just go ahead and take it all in one go. Looks like Kirito also missed the mirror in Ice Palace, which is unfortunate. So once Lord of the Synth and Kirito are going to have to get themselves back to Ice Palace to get that progression, because they're going to run up against a wall pretty soon.
Yeah, and that's very unfortunate considering both of their opponents did end up going that extra mile on Ice Palace and grabbing those.
So we have Synack working on the silver strats for these Lambos, and which can be a little tricky. You have to sort of time it just right, and the way these guys leap around, it can be a little hard to get sometimes. But he's got a couple of them down already. Should be about to get this third one.
Yeah, it's definitely a trade-off. Silver's, it's definitely fat. Like, it's one hit for each of the long-nosed snakes. But with Fire Rod, it's a little faster, doesn't lag the game as much. So some people opt to use Fire Rod or even Ice Rod against Lamno. But he gets it done, and he gets his second crystal.
Alright, we're getting really close to EpikRainjer being in Turtle Rock's orbit, so I can't wait to see if he goes in. And Lord of the Synth looks like he's thinking over his options. Kirito is going to defeat Desert pretty soon. Synack might actually just jump right into Mire here.
Oh, that would be a different play that we haven't seen yet, so...
Yeah, well, you need 3 small Mire keys for the left side to actually be in logic, because you can keylock yourself otherwise. But usually it's safe to actually just ignore that, because you never know where those Mire keys are going to be, and just go ahead and check them. So that would be 6 chests that they can get without the big key. And who knows, maybe the big key will be in there, because we're having that kind of day.
Yeah. I know some people like to kind of try to optimize their Mire trips, where if they do get a lot of Mire keys early, they'll just go to the left side first, but if they don't get them, they'll kind of not really worry about that side and just kind of focus on the right side first. If they get the progression they need, they can just move on and kill Vitreous, just call it a day. But they still need that big key before they can do that.
Yeah, the Mire keys aren't strictly useful, but even if you get just one, you can route Mire much more efficiently. Just go left to right and just get all the chests in one sweep without doing all the backtracking that you tend to see in open, because you have to go to the right side and get a key and then go flip the switch and then go back out and start checking everything on the right, and then end up at the big key chest when you run out of options.
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, about an hour and a half in, EpikRainjer's about to get that sword. He's going to be happy, or, not.
He's glad to have it, but he's not happy about it taking that long. And Lord of the Synth checking the Castle Tower chest, too.
Yeah, and still without a sword, so it's not, super fun to do that with those guards that can run faster than you can walk, but he gets it done and gets his not so wonderful prize that he decides to bomb in frustration.
Yeah, at least he has silvers at the very least to make those first rooms fast. That's one good thing about not having a sword. You at least have silvers for a lot of those enemies.
Yeah, we see Synack in the back at Skull. I guess he's just going to go ahead and go after Monty. Or not. I spoke too soon.
Okay, I actually just noticed something. Kirito doesn't have silvers.
Where were those at again?
Those were in the Dark Maze of Pod.
Oh, he doesn't have Ice Rod either. He might have run out of keys, maybe, if he used them in a weird way.
That's possible. That's very possible.
We have another blind pull for our big 20 rupees, and oh, I thought he was going to bomb it or something, but I guess he doesn't think he has time for that. Okay, now he's going to go after Malthea, it looks like. I wonder if we will get a quadruple blind pull today.
It's very possible. They've been pushing pendant dungeons for a very long time in this seed, so...
Looks like EpikRainjer could possibly be making the play.
I hope so. I mean, it's open, so may as well. And yeah,
I mean, it's either... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, he's cleared out all of Dark Death Mountain already, so yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it's either this or go all the way off the mountain just to go to six chests to Mire, and this is 11 chests if you go all the way to Trinex and ignore that vanilla big key chest. So this is, the more item dense play and more likely to have one of those few things that they're still missing. Wait, was that the last key?
No.
Or did I just miss the text box?
You may have missed the text box. I think he has 3 still.
No, that was vanilla. He came in with only 2 for some reason.
Okay, that's it. Then he just didn't grab the end of the one.
Interesting. Where was that 4th one at? That only Synack has it. I am curious now. That means that the vanilla big key chest is in play, which could be a problem if that is where the progression is, and EpikRainjer opts to skip it because he doesn't have that 4th key.
Yeah, that's true. That could be something.
I'm really curious about where that key is. I obviously was not paying enough attention to see where Synack got it and the others didn't.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Synth is going back into Ice Palace. That's good. He's going to pick up the 2 items that he needs. Or, well, I guess just 1 item he needs, but still.
Yeah, and I did forget one thing that was on the table, actually. We do have Swamp on the table.
Oh, that's right.
Which would be a pretty good play in itself. There's 10 items in there. Well, 9 because they don't have the big key. Mm-hmm. We got the mushroom, so we got a fetch quest in Turtle Rock. Now, we're missing... What are we missing? We are missing the Thieves Town big key, the Meyer big key, and the Hookshot for Go Mode, I believe?
Yeah, I believe that's it for Go Mode.
So it's only 3 items, but we do still have plenty of places where they can be.
And you have to think, like not too long ago, like 20 minutes ago, maybe not even that long, we were kind of like bottlenecked. So just like that one blockade that was kind of preventing them from moving forward, that Ice Palace mirror just kind of put everything, and now we're kind of heading towards that end of this particular seed.
Yeah, and I definitely do see doing Turtle Rock before Swamp without the hookshot, because how much the hookshot loves to be in Turtle Rock. Mm-hmm. Just hope that it is not in the big key chest, and that it's on Laser Bridge or something. But there is the potential for one of those missing big keys to be in that vanilla big key chest now.
Mm-hmm. True.
Then again, if we get our check for Sasha, maybe Sasha has what we need, and that's just the last pod key. It could also be that way.
Yeah.
And the other interesting possibility that that 4th key being so readily accessible presents is the Pyramid Fairy.
Mm-hmm. And hey, with the fact that we're getting kind of access to Turtle Rock and the possibility of clearing it now, that very well could have something just because of how hard they're pushing this.
Yeah, having all 4 keys be readily available like that is kind of a flag sometimes.
There's Bombos. Not required, but there's Bombos.
Yeah, if you hadn't already checked both slots, I would say it'd take some worry away, but now it's just an extra item for your bag.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the hook shots.
Woo! We got it.
So we have the rest of Hookshot Cave, and we have Swamp all fully in play, so... I don't know, those seem like the next 2 things you want to go for. Just go straight to Hookshot Cave after defeating this, and then go to Swamp. And hopefully that big key chest will not have something that he has to backtrack for.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good play at this point.
But as we were speaking of pod keys, there was the 6th pod key, so now Sahasrara is fully in the logic.
Okay. So yeah, right now, EpikRainjer is in item go mode. Still needs all the keys for, I don't know, just for fun, we'll call it unlock mode or something. So yeah, he still needs to be unlock mode. He still has to find the other 2 big keys that he needs to finish this seed, but he is getting there. He is getting very close to the end of this.
And we'll have to see how long it takes to find him, because there are plenty of spaces or spots still left for these keys to be.
Yeah, and it can always throw a wrench in your plans and give you, like, the Swamp Palace one, for example, not the one you're actually looking for. Oh, okay, Chad did make a good point. We also do need a 2nd sword as well, so not just fighter sword. That will also be required.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, they could try to do some fire sword again, but it will be a pretty short fight.
Yeah. So sword is honestly one of those things you kind of forget about because, I mean, not just because, like, not remembering it, but also just because you always kind of run under that impression, I'll just run into a sword along the way, but there are seeds where you don't, so you do have to kind of keep that in mind.
Yeah, going into Ganon's tower with just a fighter sword is not the most fun thing ever. Not that some of the stuff they're already doing with the fighter sword is the funnest stuff ever. But,
right, right. Yeah.
Ganon's tower, like, when you're that late in the season, it's just like, where in the heck are all my swords?
Yeah, you have so many Dark World enemies in Ganon's tower, and like in the vanilla game, you already have the Master Sword by the time you enter the Dark World, so it's just like everything takes so long to kill, unless you just have proper utilization of your Y items.
And hopefully Epic still has some potion left, because he's running into this fight with 2 hearts, which is a little dicey, and 1 heart. He's not going for it, so I feel like he might not have a potion, and down he goes.
Yep, he went down. He had a fairy, though.
Oh, okay, that's why he was just going for it. Okay, that makes more sense. So I hope he has a potion behind this, because that's still not a lot of hearts.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, we do have Synack making the Meyer play, so here's going to be some stuff we haven't seen.
That's true, yeah, Meyer could always have something.
Alright, he's got 1 head down, now he's just got to get this other guy down, hopefully before he gets some ice on the floor, because that just makes this that much harder.
Also good that he has that half magic too, so he can have a few misses here and then, but doesn't want to get too low on that magic meter.
Okay, looks like he's got him down, so now it's just a little bit of dodging, and he should be good to go.
Yeah, and with no ice on the floor, that'll make dodging a lot easier. And we have a Meyer key inside Meyer.
Well, it's not enough to put the left side in logic, but I guess it's, it's a little handy. And LordoftheSynth getting his desert key that's just chilling out there outside of desert, and meanwhile Trinex goes down. Very nice fight.
Yeah, very, very nice.
And he gets a small key to desert, which he's already cleared. Which of course puts land molas fully on the logic, but not necessary for clear, but maybe one of those keys we're looking for is on the right side.
And he hasn't gone into Meyer yet, so if there is something in Meyer, like that'd be a quick check to do along the way before you go in. May even find the big key there if you don't find it in Meyer.
Yeah, just mirror in and check those 2 chests. It's pretty nice to fold those 2 together somehow.
Oh, apparently we do have a second sword inside Meyer.
Ah, we finally found one, and a key to Castle Tower, which nobody's going to want to deal with.
Nope, but that is another item in the logic, though.
I imagine it might be a while before we see that. Well, I guess unless
yeah.
does not remember the Skullwood's big chest, in which case he might be there sooner rather than later. Alright, looks like Hookshot Cave wasn't worth much, so are we going to get a swamp play is the question?
Not entirely true. The Meyer Big Key was in there.
Oh, well, I guess I blinked at the wrong time. Okay, so now we are Thieves Town Big Key away from Go Mode then. So very close, so Meyer or Swamp? Meyer or Swamp? What do you do? I don't know. I think I might go Meyer in this case because it's a little bit quicker. You don't deal with left side Swamp potentially. Might be the better choice.
Yeah, and that big key, you can finish it too. So, and full clear it for that matter. So.
And this game is. Sorry, go ahead. I thought you were done.
I was just gonna say, and also we'll get the sword. So I mean, if that last big key is in here, he would be in Go Mode and would be able to Go Mode Swamp at that point.
Yeah, there is a lot of big key exchange in Keysanity, it seems like sometimes. So Meyer Big Chest maybe, which would be unfortunate for Synack since he does not have that Mire Big Key, and he would have to. Well, he definitely has to double dip now.
Yeah, like he can't avoid it at this point.
Lord of the Synth doing some silver strats on these Landmos. Got one of them so far. Kirito, meanwhile, is... Where is Kirito going?
He's checking mirror spots.
Oh yeah, he finally did go back for that mirror, so that's good for him. It doesn't look like he went all the way to the boss, but we know that he doesn't necessarily need to, so that's good. That's also a time save.
So did Synth not get the mirror from Ice Palace?
He might not have gone back yet, because I think he missed the mirror when he was there. Maybe I think somebody said he took a death.
Oh, okay. Datlaw said the silvers were in the pod dark maze.
Yeah, which is something Kirito's going to have to go back to, because it also had the ice rod and some other good item that I can't remember off the top of my head.
It was a big key to somewhere. I don't remember where exactly, but it was a big key. I think it may be Turtle Rock, maybe, or Hera. One of them.
Well, he has Turtle Rock's big key on his tracker.
Oh, and he has Hera's too. So
he doesn't even have. He doesn't even have Palace of Darkness big key actually. So he didn't know that.
I remember it was the Swamp Small Key. That's what it was.
Ah, right. I knew there was 3 valuable things in there, but I forgot what that last one was. But he also doesn't look like he got the pod big key, so he didn't even go down to the other dark room.
Yeah, I think chat was saying he just grabbed the flippers and left at that point, just kind of passing that off as the progression.
Yeah, we've seen that happen a lot, where people just see that one item and they're like, well, let me just follow this one item, but unfortunately they leave some value in the back.
I honestly feel like that whole pod soft lock has kind of created like a bit of a, not really a strange mindset, it's a mindset where people do not want to be in a soft lock situation, so they kind of want to take pod very carefully, or they just, you know, they don't want to go too far, they don't want to kind of get in a situation that'll kind of mess them up later, and they kind of expect they'll get all the pod keys at some point anyway, so
yeah,
that
this
might
is
kind of throw people off.
And he may not be aware that the chests where the big key is for pod, those are all perfectly logical with 3 keys that he does have, so maybe he just doesn't realize that. Thinks that's part of the must-have 6 keys situation, and, you know, hesitating to go back.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think too.
And meanwhile, we have Synack doing that double dip I said is not really necessary, so he's going to be losing a little bit of time here. And Lord of the Synth, we really need that guy. We need him to go back to Ice Palace and get that mirror so he can start knocking this seed down. Looks like he's trying to think about what he can do right now. So everybody send him your energy. Think Ice Palace.
Mm-hmm. Well, it almost worked. We are going to an ice location.
Oh, is this the start to recheck things situation, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't realize he can get further into Ice Palace because it's just hard to do without a sword?
Maybe.
Which, unfortunately, the randomizer does not care about as much, so...
Nope.
Or Datlost, it brings up a good point. Maybe he doesn't know he can bomb the floor because people usually use the hookshot when they do the Ice Palace, because almost always have the hookshot, so maybe he's been watching runs. Does not actually realize that you can just bomb the floor there.
That is very true. That is something that you kind of have to look out for whenever you're kind of joining a randomizer with just experience of the randomizer and not the vanilla game. It's just that sometimes you can kind of get under that impression that, oh, I can't do this yet, when you actually can. I think the Samaria trick in Ice Palace is another example of that. A lot of people see Samaria being used to place on the block in Ice Palace, when in reality the vanilla game wanted you to go kind of a long loop around the dungeon with a bunch of switches.
Yeah, and it's just another variation of that, you know, that bonking with the no sword and the item dash. Like, you see people do the item dash, but you don't necessarily know what's behind it, so you're not fully aware of everything you need to do that. So they see people hookshotting to that chest all the time. Maybe they think that's the only way to actually get there. It's entirely possible if you learn a lot of the randomizer from just watching tournaments and things like that, that you can possibly get some mistaken impressions, which can be unfortunate.
Yeah, it definitely happens.
So it looks like Epic has made most of the way through Meyer here and has not picked up that last item he needs, so Swamp seems like it could be the play next. And unfortunately, a full clear of Swamp.
That's why I'd really want to take that chance to check the check those 2 desert items just in case before heading in there.
And with all 6 of those pod keys, I'd be heading over to Sahashala real quick too. I mean, one of these minutes has got to pay out. I mean, come on.
Yeah, really. Like, I'm honestly surprised that hasn't been checked yet, but at the same time, like, only 2 of them have them, so...
Yeah, meanwhile, Synack is running into that problem where he doesn't have ether, so hopefully he thinks of that Skullwood Big Chest sometime in the near future. Kirito's up in Moldorm, hopefully going to get his first sword sometime soon, if he can avoid getting trolled too hard.
Okay, unfortunately we do have a forfeit from the race. LordoftheSynth has forfeited in the IRC chat.
Well, that is unfortunate to see. I guess he just forgotten that he can get further into Ice Palace.
Yeah, and I'm sure those deaths definitely kind of discouraged him a bit as well, I'm sure. So, you know, it happens. It happens from time to time. If you feel like you just kind of need to stop and put the controller down, that's just the way it is. If you're not feeling it, you should never force yourself through something.
Yeah, it's always a hard feeling when you are just, you know, you just totally forgot something and you're just like, I know it's somewhere and I just walked right by it. You know, it can be unfortunate. But props to LordoftheSynth for playing here today.
Looks like he will be joining us for a short interview, though. So, oh, okay.
And meanwhile, we have our first swamp plays. We'll see if this is where that final thing we need, or at least EpikRainjer needs, has been waiting this whole time. Unfortunately, Synack still needs a couple more things. Alright, Kirito has got Moldorm down, so he is going to be on his way to the other side of the mountain. Let's get that sword, which was basically all you'll get from this other side of the mountain. We'll see if he goes ahead into Turtle Rock. Except for he will have the problem of not having gotten that ice rod from the big chest of pot. we have some red mail in Swamp, but so far it doesn't look like we've found that thing we need. And I might have missed Epic going to left side, and maybe he's just skipping that for now in the hopes that his big key is in the back and he's going to do it afterwards. It's possible I missed him going there. But it does look like Synack is definitely going left.
Okay, it looks like we have Lord of the Synth on Discord. I'll go ahead and bring him in. Hello, Lord of the Synth. How are you doing after that? Is your mic set up at all? Because if you're saying something, we cannot hear you.
I'm not hearing anything just yet. Meanwhile, we have EpikRainjer. Hasn't found anything in the back. Synack almost over here to the left side, so we'll see if any of this pans out.
Okay, Synth is having some mic issues, but he is trying to get them figured out. He'll be with us shortly.
Alright, this fight isn't too bad with Master Sword at least. They didn't have to do the menu boss, they got that second sword before coming here, so that's pretty helpful. And he's going to try out some fire rod strats.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can
hear you now.
Okay, so I'll ask again. How are you feeling after that seed? That pretty rough seed, to be quite honest. Okay, you're kind of breaking up a little bit.
Doesn't look like EpikRainjer found what he was. Nope, he's going to the left side, which, judging from Synack's side, did not actually give him what he was looking for, so Swamp was not the thing. And, have we seen Magic Bat yet?
Okay, unfortunately you're still getting some really, really bad feedback on the mics. Whoa.
Well, we found Tempered from the powder, which I assume is on left side Swamp, because I don't see anybody else with it. So that's not the worst find, but it is not what we're looking for. Synack getting a little bit confused maybe because he has not remembered that he has this Skullwood's big key. And meanwhile, Kirito is heading towards Mothula, it looks like. We need him to remember to go back to Pod and pick up some of these items he's missing. I think Synack is going to make that play on the castle tower that we were talking about. See, Epic's heading for left side, so let's see if this is where the powder was. I can't imagine where else it would have been. But I did miss one or two, or at least one of the chests on the left side.
Yeah.
Which, you know, if he checks that before he does anything else, he'll at least get his tempered sword. Wondering if he'll go for the Pyramid Fairy after this, because it is really convenient. It's right there, and well, he doesn't know that he has all the keys for it to be in logic, but they are all available. Meanwhile, the castle tower is not playing out.
That's unfortunate. But of course, whenever you think about it, it always seems to be a case where it's never there when you think about it, but it's like always there when you don't think about it. Just a classic part of Randomizer, it seems like.
Yeah, if it's a chest that I've forgotten, and it's guaranteed that is the one place the progression will be. I think the only time that didn't work out against me was when it was me accidentally skipping silvers in the Easter hop, because of all the places to skip. Why not the one right at the beginning of the game?
Also, unfortunately, due to the mic issues, LordoftheSynth will not be joining us in the call, but he will be in chat, so you can ask and answer. He'll answer questions if you have any.
Well, GG to LordoftheSynth. Thanks for putting yourself out there for us today.
Yeah, for sure. This was honestly a really rough seed, just forcing pendants on you, and then of course just not having a sword for all of that too. And Ice Palace without a sword is always rough. So, you know, it happens. Sometimes you get dealt with a hand that you just can't really cope with at that moment, and we do appreciate you taking the time to at least give it a shot and try anyway. So, GG to you for sure.
Yeah, it's not the friendliest of situations making you go into the Ice Palace like that. So, GG to all these runners for slogging through this mess. And once again, a shout out to our trackers on the backside. We have Number Play and the Crazy Dude. I want to thank them again for their help.
Yeah, they've been doing an amazing job just kind of keeping everything up to date for us and just staying on top of everything. Seriously, tracking's a very thankless job, and it deserves to be thanked more. So thank you to both of you for the work you've put in for this.
Well, we got our 2 blind pulls, but the third one just decided to read it instead of pulling it, so we got 2 out of 4. And Synack is thinking hard about where to go. Hopefully he'll see that Skullwood's big key in his menu and head that way soon.
Yeah, that is definitely what he needs to do, because Kirito is honestly kind of making some ground up despite all of that, so...
Yeah, the longer Synack forgets that key is a thing, the easier it'll be for Kirito to catch up on him. Meanwhile, Epic is making that Pyramid Fairy play. This is fully in the logic, even if he doesn't know it for sure. I don't think he checks the hospital yet, though. I really want somebody to check the hospital.
Yeah, I really want that too. I mean, they forced that green pendant so early, and then like it's just like, come on, we want to see it. Ooh, just $40. That's not good.
Yeah, and Epic with the powder, so that was definitely on left side swamp. So if he checks that, he'll get his tempered sword, but we'll see which way he goes. Synack has resorted to checking all these mirror spots that he may not have checked before. Gets a heart container, you know. Can't sneeze at more health, but that's not what he's really looking for.
Yeah, it definitely isn't.
Meanwhile, it looks like Kirito is going to unfortunately go into Swamp without the hook shot. He did not elect to go into Turtle Rock, where his hook shot is waiting for him.
And, you know, we kind of talked about this possibility earlier, but what if Thieves Town Big Key in that one chest in Turtle Rock, that one that EpikRainjer did not get?
Yeah, that is a very big possibility, because he did not have that third Turtle Rock key from back of Skull Woods, maybe? He's heading that way now. Was that maybe where it was? Because that would have put that chest in the logic and obtainable.
Yeah, that might be where it is, so that could put that on that, put him on that track anyway.
That would be the most annoying place for it to be, I think, of the remaining possibilities. And Kirito maybe gonna redip Ice Palace, it looks like. This might be his third trip in, I think. But unfortunately, there's nothing really waiting for him here, so
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, Synack is going in the right direction. Is he going to do the thing?
Not yet.
He is not. So I think Epic might be our best chance to figure out where Go Mode is first, but it's just a matter of him slogging through all these options that are still on the table, which is Sahasrara, the last chest in Turtle Rock, and, well, for him, Powder. We know it's not there. I don't know if he has any other possibilities that he has inject.
I don't remember since you were trying to get something to call at that time, but did he go to those 2 chests in the desert?
I think he actually skipped out without going to those.
Well, that could also be something, too.
Yeah, he was right there, so it was an interesting choice to not just go in while you're there, but I guess he's chasing after crystals, so why not?
Speaking of that, that is his 6th crystal. He only has 1 more to go, and that is the one at Thieves Town, which he needs the big key for. That is all he needs for his Go Mode right now.
Yeah, he still has the Desert Smoky, so he did not go in there while he was there.
Well, he is going back now.
Meanwhile, I think Synack is probably running out of viable options as well, so he's going to get to a point where he's going to have to remember to go to Skullwoods, or he's going to be, you know, doing that thing where you look at your menu like, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
We've all been there a time or two, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Just skip over that one thing, and then you just end up staring at your screen like, so what?
Yeah, it's always one of those moments where you just kind of look at everything, you just can't figure it out, and you almost feel just like a huge idiot for missing something once you finally realize where it is. But everyone who plays Randomizer has had that experience. It's very, very common. It'll happen to every runner regardless of skill. It's just something that goes and happens. And there it is, in Desert.
We have achieved Go Mode, so no, and so Sahasrara was nothing that we needed, and so all of this pendant stuff, all of the bait, it was just dangling in front of you for nothing.
And that was a 2-hour and 2-minute Go Mode as well, so that's it.
Yeah, meanwhile, Kirito is going to clear out Ice Palace and not find anything that he really wants to find, and Synack, well, he needs to think of Skullwoods. Everybody send vibes. Skullwoods.
Mm-hmm.
We need Synack to go to Skullwoods and Kirito to go back to Pod. And somebody in chat does make a fair point that Epic is probably not going to get that tempered sword, at least from the powder now, so it'll depend on if there is another sword somewhere along the way, whether he is doing Master Sword Ganon or not. Which can be a tricky thing to pull off. It's especially Phase 2 is really just ugh.
Mm-hmm. I think a funny thing is what if Sash had a sword the whole time, and like just that would have solved all their problems early on without a sword if they just went to Sahasrara and made that play sooner.
Well, the logic does expect you to have a tempered sword, so it would make a certain amount of sense, because it has pushed the green pendant. Well, it pushed all the pendants, but yeah, like having all 6 pod keys to have the green pendant, that's pretty unusual.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
I'm also wondering what's in that vanilla big key chest of Turtle Rock, since we might find out if Synack makes his way to Ether and goes up there with all 4 keys.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like Synack. I don't think Synack's actually gone to Sahasrara either, and it looks like he's resorting to double checking things, even though he has that green pendant. Unless he did and we missed it.
So one thing you will see Epic do while he's kind of finishing off this loft dungeon, even though he is in go mode, he will still more than likely check chests that are either in the same room as him or even chests that aren't too far away, like even the big key chest, or the big chest, I mean. Even that would be a fair thing to check. I think at this point it's not too far out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, objectively speaking, Go Mode Thieves Town is not that much of a time saver overall because you have to follow the same path still.
So yeah, he's going to be looking for just, you know, the possibility of having Tempered over Master Sword, because it is a pretty significant difference between the two.
He actually did not... Or did he? He doesn't have the Thieves Town key. Looks
oh,
like
he doesn't.
Well, he does, I think, but he didn't pick up the one from the top, maybe? He just decided to use the one he had.
Yeah, that happens sometimes, yeah. Sometimes you forget the... Yeah, you normally get that small key.
I guess he just decided not to worry about the big chest since he's in go mode.
That's fair, that's fair.
But Kirito has gotten Ice Palace down, so where is he gonna go? He needs to go to Pod. But he is going to go to Mire. Alright, so EpikRainjer about to make the climb to Ganon's Tower, where we will not see any of the basement. It's one of those features of Keysanity. You very rarely have to go to any of the chests in the basement. So hopefully for him there will be a sword on the climb and you can not have to do Master Sword Ganon.
Yeah, from what we've seen though, EpikRainjer seems to have pretty good execution and he knows a lot of tricks, so I imagine he might be familiar with Master Sword Ganon, and he probably isn't. If he's been looking at the SRL, he probably feels a lot less pressure just because he knows that Synth forfeited and everything, so he might give it a shot anyway.
Yeah, this is true. He technically does not have to rush at this point.
Yeah.
That's asking where the hookshot was. The hookshot was in Turtle Rock, the big chest.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, Synack is being held back because he needs to get Ether from the Skullwoods big chest. And he got the Skullwoods big key a long time ago, so he may have put it out of his mind. Once he gets Ether, he can go to Turtle Rock and get his hookshot, which will take him to Hookshot Cave to get his Mire big key, which will not really take him anywhere in particular, but then he can eventually get his big key to Thieves Town from Desert.
Mm-hmm.
I actually forget exactly where the Desert Small Key was.
I believe it was also in the. It was either in the Turtle Rock area or just like or in Turtle Rock, because Epic had it before he went to Mire, because we kind of talked about the possibility of him dipping in there before.
Yeah. Okay. So that makes it. Oh, there was. Okay. No, that was the sword we already knew about. It doesn't make a certain amount of sense, though. That way, if he just follows that path and just checks Desert, you know, as soon as he gets to Mire and clears that, then he won't have to do anything else, and he can go mode Swamp, which would be very nice.
Synack did have the cursor on 3 for a little bit, but then he moved it to 2. I think he's trying to go through every location.
Yeah, he might need to spend a minute just looking at his menu and seeing what keys he has and thinking about it.
Yeah, and one thing that could help, because this is Keysanity, and with the way the compasses work in this particular mode, that could actually be a bit of an advantage, just kind of going through all the accessible dungeons. If they have the compass, they can check their items really quick, and if they don't have the count they should be having, that could jog something in their memory to maybe check that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what kind of compasses they picked up, so I'm not sure if they have that one. But that is that can be a helpful feature for if you are, you know, out of ideas and maybe don't know that you have skipped a dungeon or skipped a chest in a dungeon.
Definitely.
But he is thinking hard about where to go. Just
Yeah.
not sure what number he wants to settle on, which not the one that he needed right there. I think maybe we're finally getting the Sasha play.
Maybe.
Should be interesting to see if any of the pendants were worth anything today.
Well, we'll find out.
Oh man, this game.
The old man shovel.
This game really wanted you to have that shovel, like, so bad.
Yeah. And it's all gonna be for a compass or something.
I'm trying to think if there's even anything left that it would logically expect you to have at this point, other than maybe a sword. Maybe the Swamp Palace Big Key, because I know it likes to give access to all the keys for 5 and 6 dungeons a lot. But nope, it's the sword.
Wow, wow, my gosh.
That kind of figures.
So yeah, they could have had a sword much, much earlier, too. That could have been the first sword.
Also, rest in peace the ability of Epic to get a tempered sword.
Yeah, I don't see him going back for either of those two swords at this point.
It's interesting that the logic was pushing you at that, I guess, to make double sure that you had access to a sword.
Yeah.
And Synack is thinking about it again. I hope he's looking at his keys and thinking, where can I go with these keys in my pocket? And Kirito is checking out the Aghanim's Tower for that second chest. Still need him to go back to Pod and pick up his Ice Rod and his Swamp Small Key and start making some progress. He has Ether, though. He could actually, even without the Ice Rod, get the items that he needs to unlock the seed, because the hookshot is not behind Trinex.
That's right, yeah.
Unfortunately, that would probably troll him pretty hard with where the Ice Rod is, but that would at least get him something. It would get him something.
Synack does flute to 3, but he's going the opposite direction right now.
Yeah, I gotta figure that he just doesn't even remember that he has the Skullwoods Big Key, or he just totally thinks that he turned it in at this point.
I do love the switch and mood from the chat. Just saying yes, yes, and then no, no.
Yeah, it was close. He went the right direction, but then he went the wrong direction. Meanwhile, Epic getting a little trolled by Moldorm 2 there, but he is almost at the end of this very, we'll say, interesting seed.
Mm-hmm.
And props to all the runners again for making any kind of progress on this seed with the expectations that it gave you.
Yeah, really. Like again, we can't stress out enough that the expectations, and especially for a lot of Keysanity seeds, just kind of expects you to do things that you'd honestly never would consider before, and some of the things can be really, really hard to pull off. Going that long without a sword, going through Ice Palace, going through even Pod without a sword for a bit, that's really, really rough, and Randomizer makes you do some really tough things sometimes, so definitely major props to all the runners for just taking time out of their day to have this race and entertain you guys with all the stuff that's been going on in this nightmare of a scene.
Well, we finally got a shield at 2 hours and 13 minutes in with on EpikRainjer's side before he goes to face Aghanim. So, you know, how useful. But he's on the end stretch there.
Okay, Synack has his cursor on 3 again.
You're so close. Just hit it. Just hit enter. Hit A. Whatever button. Go north. Oh, he's doing it. Oh, he's going the right way.
Okay, he's going the right way.
But he's going to start rechecking things instead. Go recheck Skullwoods, Synack. Go start rechecking Skullwoods. Come on, man.
Anyway, Kirito's going to have an item that will not be tracked, unfortunately, but he has the bug catching net.
Oh, he's fluting away again. Oh. Come on, Synack, you can do it. Kirito is heading in the right direction. But again, he doesn't have that ice rod, but he is again going to get something that will unlock some progress. So it's a question of when is he going to remember that there's more stuff in Pod, that he has keys that he can get to. Like, hopefully he's not just thinking it's about the this whole situation where he's not just being afraid of that, but he is going to get another key, another pod key inside of Turtle Rock if he goes in here, so maybe that'll prompt him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. At that point, if he has the pod keys, he'll probably be thinking, oh, okay, well, I should have enough now. I should be fine. I think I even said he had 3 right there, and I think that's pretty much what he has left at this point.
Yeah, meanwhile, Epic is doing his Master Sword again and doing a pretty good job, making use of that corner to get a couple extra spins in. And he's going to get another opportunity here. This is like the perfect spot. I've honestly lost track of how many hits, so I'm not sure. Oh, there's phase 2, yeah. And he's going to use the cape, which is also a good strat.
Yeah, when you get half magic and cape and a seed, and especially if you have to do Master Sword Ganon, yeah, definitely want to utilize that as much as possible.
Alright, so now Kirito's got all 4 keys, so there's a good chance we'll at least get to see what's in that middle chest, which at this point, what could it be? I don't see what they would need logically. I'll say there's again that missing Swamp Big Key, and I know that it likes to give access to all the keys for 5 6, so maybe that.
I'm actually going to go with the shield, since we've only seen one of them so far.
Yeah, those poor shields. They're not getting the love today. It's not going to be a GT small key, because EpikRainjer did get all 4 of those.
Ooh, and Epic does take a fall with one of the weird factors of this Ganon fight. Sometimes if you get hit in a way, you'll have some really, really strange knockback. He was in front of Ganon, and somehow getting hit by the fire bats put him behind Ganon into the pit. It just really weird how that fight works.
Yeah, that's a case of you cannot hold. If you hold a direction, it's going to kick you back the opposite direction, which, of course, your instinct is to hold away from the pit. So you get hit in the face with a fire bat, and you're like, oh no, I don't want to get knocked into the pit. Let me hold the away button, and then you just immediately get knocked into the pit because it takes you the opposite direction. So basically you have to fight your instincts, and just not even hold a directional button isn't the best way. But if you're going to hold one, you know, it would be the counterintuitive way, but hold it away or towards the pit.
Right. I actually never put that together. That's actually good to know.
I did not put that together myself, but I do listen to a lot of commentary. So.
Right.
Personally speaking, half the time I still just hold the direction and just get knocked off.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just can't fight it, especially if you're, just trying to maneuver around them as it is.
Okay, Synack is going the right direction. Come on, Synack.
Okay.
You've got this. Like, he's so close.
He is, and, thankfully, this is, Kirito did make up a little bit of ground, but Synack did clear out a lot of stuff, and he has Butter Sword. He's going to be, literally melting bosses at this point. So, it wasn't enough for Kirito to catch up, but it's good that he's finally realized this so he can get this race back underway.
Yeah, this is going to really open up the scene for him and give him a lot more to do. And eventually, depending on what he decides to check and win, eventually he'll get himself to go mode with what he has.
Yeah, and again, just to keep in mind, this is a race. This is two different races. The top two screens for racing and the bottom two screens for racing. But just because it took so long to get this item, Synack is unaware of where his opponent is right now, and with a finish coming up very, very soon, he's going to be really, really scared that he's so far behind, almost too far behind to make any ground up. So that could really, really start affecting his playing for the rest of it as well.
Yeah, meanwhile, a question in chat, where was Butter Sword? It was at the shovel spot, and we got the shovel from Sasha, which the game was pushing so hard at us so long ago, so it was for Sword all along. And meanwhile, we found out that the middle chest of Triple Rock was just some arrow upgrades, so not worth.
Yeah, unfortunately not.
Alright, so there's Ether for Synack, and yeah, I feel like you're probably correct, and he's gonna feel a little bit nervous about this for the rest of the race. Meanwhile, Epic has got it down. Oh, Ganon goes down. GG Epic.
GG EpikRainjer. And he will finish with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 20 minutes, and 39 seconds. That, honestly, very normal for Keysanity. I don't know if how many races all of chat has watched, but it's not uncommon to go past that 2 hour mark, and it's honestly not uncommon to see the 2 hour 30 mark either. It's just, sometimes it can take a long time. There's a lot of walls to break down, and you just don't know how long it's going to take sometimes.
Alright, Kirito just got his hook shot. Still needs to go to pod to get his Swamp Smokey and Ice Rod. But that'll give him some more options. Unfortunately, he might end up double dipping. Well, no, he can't double dip Swamp too hard, I guess, without the Smokey, huh?
Yeah. But we do have EpikRainjer in their waiting room. I'm going to go ahead and bring him in. EpikRainjer, welcome. GG. Congratulations on your victory for this seed.
GG. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, GG on getting through a bit of a rough seed there with some of the things it expected you to do.
I felt behind the entire seed. It was a rough seed. I'll agree with that.
So what kind of thoughts do you have about this seed and some of what it put you through?
I wasted a lot of time doing pendant dungeons. I shouldn't have, except for Ether. I think was in one of them. But I'd like to say this seed goes in the trash. I felt the 1 hour 25-minute sword was kind of ouch.
Well, would you like to know, because eventually all 6 pod keys were found, so Sahasrara was fully in the logic. Would you like to know what the logic was pushing you towards there?
Yes, please.
It was pushing you towards a shovel from Sahasrara, which would have led you to a sword.
Oh, I never turned in my green pendant. Oh my god.
Yeah, we were wondering when that was going to come into play, or if it would come into play.
Yeah, for the record, the 4th one was at the powder, so that was where you weren't going to get those at any point past when you went in go mode, more than likely.
Awesome. Great. Love it.
Yeah, one of the runners ended up getting a little bit lost and ended up finding both the swords in the meantime while they were trying to figure out where to go next.
And honestly, like, you said something about, like, you wasted time on pendant dungeons. Honestly, I kind of disagree a little bit, because Pod had Ice Rod, it had the silvers for help, it had the flippers. Ice Palace had the mirror, so you could actually get to some of the places, and I think the Eastern had the gloves at the very beginning. I think you did maybe a little more than you needed to, but at that point, like, you couldn't really, like, say otherwise, because the seed was kind of pushing you in those directions.
Yeah, to be fair, the seed was just throwing pendant dungeons at your feet, like, you know, no, go complete these, and they really just wanted you to, like, half complete them for the valuable items in there, but it was giving you so many keys and so much access, it's like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, as soon as I pulled the pedestal and nothing was there, I felt like I was like a half hour behind at least.
Yeah, and it gave you that Eastern Palace bait pretty early, and there was just nothing there. It was just big 20. So, you know, it's understandable why people would think that the pedestal might have been a thing, because why else would it just give you that access for like some bombs and a big 20?
Yeah, true. But all in all, I still had fun with it. I really did.
How do you feel about going into Ice Palace swordless?
Oh, that's the worst. That was rough.
Yeah, it probably also doesn't help knowing that you could have potentially had a sword if you checked that green pendant, but again, sometimes just things kind of slip your mind.
Yeah, I was gonna route in with, I can't remember with what, and I just totally spaced it after that.
Yeah, although I think with the logic it really didn't want you to have that sword yet, because where the last pod key was, but yeah, that was one of those where you could have circumvented it a little bit.
Yeah, I figured as soon as I beat pod, I was kind of out of logic, because it does require you to have 6 keys to beat pod, and I think I only had 4 at the time when I beat it.
Yeah, because you did the hammer jump, I believe.
Yeah, after I beat pod, I was just, I don't know where I'm at in the logic. I'm just gonna go dig up stuff. I don't know what else to do. So just a lot of guessing on my end.
Well, hey, I mean, it worked out. You did win your match. Unfortunately, your opponent did forfeit. Just having a little trouble with the seed. Was unable to get that mirror from Ice Palace, but you stuck it to the end, and you are going into week 2 with a 1-0 record. So again, GG on that, and definitely best of luck in the future weeks. Hopefully, you'll get seeds that aren't like this, that are a little more friendly, but it's Keysanity, so that's a very small chance, but we'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, it is what it is. But thank you guys. Thank you so much. GG.
Yeah, GG, and thanks for putting yourself out there today.
Okay, getting back to the action elsewhere. Kirito is actually on the hookshot's room right now.
Yeah, he's got that Mire big key, and if he follows the crumbs, he'll get that Thieves Town big key. His problem will be the Swamp small key and the Ice Rod. Although I don't see the Desert small key, so maybe it was deeper into Turtle Rock. I'm not sure. Was that actually on Trinex?
I don't remember, honestly.
That might be because he came away from the mountain without it, it looks like, so that'll take Thieves Town off the table at least before he ends up having to go back to pod.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Synack has made some progress into Turtle Rock, and he is going to be able to clean it out on his first run through here because he has the Ice Rod.
Yes.
And then he will be able to get his Mire big key. It'll be only a matter of time before he ends up in Desert with his small key and gets that last key that he needs.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Synack definitely in item go mode right now, especially with that butter sword as well. But still needs to be on that unlock mode, so still needs those 2 big keys, and of course the small key for. Oh no, he has that. Never mind. I was gonna say a small key for Swamp, but he does have that. But yeah, just the 2 big keys for Mire and Thieves Town, and he'll be good to go.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Kirito will end up with any other swords, because based on the way that he is going through this, it's possible the small key could be his go mode, unless that Desert small key really is on Trinex. I'm gonna get some laser skips from Synack. A lot of people can make this look easy, but it is not easy to avoid these lasers. But he did pretty good on the first one.
Yeah, he got that one all right too.
I know they say to go when the eye closes, but the eye closes for like half a second, so I don't know how.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely a case where the more skillful runners and the runners who've done this millions and millions of times, they make it look so simple and so easy, but then when you actually do it, it's like, oh my gosh, there's like no time at all. I can't do this.
Yeah, I am much more of a fan of having the mirror shield. People scoff at shield sometimes, but I am all about the mirror shield, especially if I have to do laser bridge.
Grabbing a fairy before heading into the Trinex, not a bad idea, although he does have a lot of hearts and red mail, so he'd be fine, I think, regardless, but still, it never hurts to make sure you're prepared.
Yeah, and with Butter Sword, it's not going to take too much to put down Trinex.
Yeah, it's going to be miles different from the fight that Epic had when he fought him.
Yeah, this is like a blink and you miss it kind of fight if you do it right.
Plus, I think Epic. I was just gonna say, I think Epic was even working this fight with Hammer, and not even because I don't think he had Master Sword by this point.
Yeah, he had Fighter Sword, I'm pretty sure, and looks like Synack missed the quick menu change before he knocked the Firehead down, but still going pretty quick on this, and he's gonna have him down in just a second. Yeah, no fuss, no muss with Gold Sword.
Yeah, I believe that is. Yep, there's the Desert Palace small key, so he just needs to remember to go back there and he will... Oh, and also stop in Hookshot Cave too, before he leaves.
Yeah. So I guess that Swamp small key is not going to be Kirito's go mode because, or no, yeah, because he's gonna need to get the Ice Rod at the same time he gets the Swamp small key. So everybody's basically gonna be ending on the Thieves Town big key. So it'll be a case of how long before Kirito makes his way back to Pod.
And I always found it so interesting how in this particular seed, and a lot of Keysanity seeds for that matter, Thieves Town, which is normally like one of the first dungeons you complete, just because of that big key, it can be like one of the last dungeons you complete in Keysanity.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's not a dungeon that go mode really gets you that much out of. Say if he were able to get the Swamp small key last, like he'd be able to save a lot more time. But Thieves Town go mode is just like you're still going down the same path. So at best, you skip the big chest and save like 30 seconds.
Ooh, and unfortunately, Synack does not stop at Hookshot Cave before going back down the mountain, so he's going to have to climb all the way back up for that later.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. He's not going to be happy when he finds that Mire big key.
Geez, at this point, that might be his go mode item, because he probably more likely will go to Desert before there.
Yeah, it's kind of a quick check to get those 2 items in Desert versus going all the way back up the mountain for those other 3, because I think he already bonked to the first chest. Meanwhile, Kirito is going to try out some Master Sword strats on Vitreous here, which, as long as you're careful, isn't terrible, but, you know, yeah, he's getting all the little eyes down, so this guy is not nearly as bad with the bow.
Let's see, that's going to give Kirito his 4th crystal. Still needs to get Thieves Town, Swamp Palace, and Turtle Rock. He needs to go to Pod as soon as possible if he wants to have any chance of potentially still being in this race, because Synack is just going to be clearing out locations very, very fast.
Yeah, without Pod, he is not going to get any more crystals.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he can't do any more at this point.
So he's going to get funneled there. He might not even have anything left at this point. Like, this Pod might already be all that he has to do. Meanwhile, we're going to see Synack do the back of Swamp. He already came in here earlier and did the left side. So he's going to go back here and look for this Thieves Town big key, and unfortunately he's not going to find what he wants.
Okay, Kirito is back in the eastern area.
Is he going to go for it? It looks like he might be thinking about what he's doing. Okay. Yeah, he's gone.
Okay, so yeah, he is on the right track now. But yeah, again, it's unfortunate because at this point, like, Synack just needs those 2 big keys. He's going to have his 5th crystal very, very shortly. And he's just going to be working on looking for those 2 keys, while Kirito has 3 dungeons to still kind of work on. 2 of them he hasn't even stepped really foot in yet.
Yeah, I do think the odds are more in Synack's favor for finding what he needs first, because, you know, Kirito's got a bit of a chain still ahead of him, whereas Synack is still just looking for these 2 big keys, and everywhere that he needs to look is already open to him. It's a case of him actually getting there. But Kirito is actually blocked off from most of what he needs to explore. So the big question, I guess, will be, will he go to Desert, or will he go to Hookshot Cave? And that will determine which key will end up being his go mode.
I feel like, again, like I said earlier, Desert's probably a slightly higher possibility he could just get the small key, and that could be fresh in his mind. While Hookshot Cave, because he did kind of go away from that location, he could be under the impression that, oh, I already grabbed this, so hopefully that's not the case.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance you're right. Also, maybe it was a case of he got really excited about finding finding the hook shot and was just like, oh, I can do Swamp, and, you know, just didn't even think about the Hookshot Cave. That happens sometimes.
Yeah, it does for sure.
But Kirito's about to get his pod big key, which will give him his fire rod if he goes immediately over to the dark maze, which will also give him all the other things he needs in this dungeon. And the question is, will he complete it, or will he just abandon ship, which would actually be what he really needs to do.
Do you mean ice rod? Because you said fire rod.
Oh, yeah, you know, one of those
One of the rods.
One of those rods that shoots the stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's easy to get him confused.
They're really the same item, just a different color, really.
Yeah, one's fire, one's ice. I mean, and when it comes to Trinex, I mean, they basically do the same thing. So. Okay,
there we go. He got his small key. He got his silvers. He'll have his ice rod very shortly. He's going to be thinking, you know, I wish I would have come back here earlier.
Yeah, the sword probably wouldn't be bad for him to get, but the play right here for him would be to just leave. But we'll see it looks like he's going to go at least get one more chest. And you were right, it looks like Synack is going to Desert first, so it looks like Misery Mire Big Key is going to be his go.
Yep. So this will take him to Thieves Town. I'm going to give that a full clear, I'm sure, and then hopefully he remembers that he did leave that behind still.
We're getting a little bit of breakup on Kirito's side, so I can't tell what he's going for. Looks like he might be going for the boss instead of the Harmless Elway, so he might get his sword after all.
That's true, yeah, he might.
Alright, so now we are in a race to see who can get their last big key first. It's still probably Synack's race to lose at this point, but we'll have to see how long it takes him to think a hookshot cave. Kirito's going to rush straight to the boss, which may or may not get him to get that sword from the shovel. Depends on if he goes straight to Sahasrara, which would be what you would expect people to do, even though it did not really happen that way this time. Because Sahasrara is right there. But Kirito does have to go back to the mountain and has to get the Desert Small Key from Trinex before he can find that Thieves Town Big Key. So he does have a bit to go through before he can get into go mode. Meanwhile, I'm not entirely sure what Synack hasn't checked beyond the hookshot cave, so I don't think he really has any options beyond that. And LordoftheSynth may not be pronouncing that right at all. It's possible that all the shields are in Ganon's tower because we haven't seen them anywhere else. And nobody has to check the basement at all, so it's definitely possible that all the rest of them are in there. We did see the small one from the last chest after World War II. We do also have this big chest coming up that that didn't get checked earlier because EpikRainjer was in go mode. But that's just a big 20, so I would assume that all of the shields are in Ganon's tower somewhere. So Kirito is going to go straight to Sahasrara with the green pennant. He's going to get that shovel, so there's a decent chance he's just going to go straight away and dig up his sword, which will be good for him because Master Sword, again, it can be a little hard. So having Tempered is never a bad thing. He might choose to go into Swamp first, though, because he does have full access to that. And nope, he's gonna go dig up the sword, so he's gonna have Tempered at least. Meanwhile, Synack's doing a pretty good job on his blind fight. It's gonna get him down without too much trouble. Then he will need to head to Hookshot Cave to get himself in go mode. Okay, so it appears that Synack is not going to Hookshot Cave, so not 100% sure what it is that he's going after right now. I'm pretty sure he did the Pyramid Fairy already. Unless that was EpikRainjer, which it might have been. So, okay, I guess we're going to get the Pyramid Fairy. Unfortunately, he's not going to find much of what he wants in the Pyramid Fairy. So I think at that point, he will definitely be down to Hookshot Cave. Meanwhile, Kirito is going to go through Swamp and also not going to find much of note except for the powder, which if he turns in, he will also be on Gold Sword.
Okay, I am back. Sorry, I had to step away for a minute or two. How are things going?
Well, Synack had not done the Pyramid Fairy, so he's going to make a stop there, and then I think he's going to be out of options beside the Hookshot Cave. Meanwhile, Kirito is going to full clear Swamp and not find much else other than the Powder, which will lead him to the Gold Sword, because he did go straight to Sahasrara, and then go straight to the Shovel Spot. So if he chooses to turn the Powder in, he will go beyond Gold Sword before the end.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, just some speculation that maybe all 3 shields were in Ganon's Tower, which I think is probably accurate because they don't seem to be anywhere else.
Yeah, I think at that point that's the only place where they honestly could be, because I want to say every dungeon has pretty much been full cleared at this point.
Yeah, I don't think there's any chests we didn't see, because we did eventually see the Turtle Rock vanilla key chest too, big key chest.
Yeah, and wasn't it just like an arrow upgrade or something?
Yeah, nothing special. I think the only reason it pushed all 4 of those keys so much was just because it was a 5/6 crystal.
Yeah, understandable.
It likes to push those keys a little bit. Sometimes it gets to a point where you can almost predict which one the 5/6 is going to be before you go to the bomb guide, just based on which keys show up. It's not like 100% every time, but it does happen sometimes where you can do that.
Yeah, for sure. That's just the way this randomizer works. Is sometimes, yeah, you'll see things happen more often than not, and that's just an explanation for that, for sure.
And Synack should be going to the Hookshot Cave here. I can't imagine what else he needs to do up here, or that he has to do up here.
Yeah, he is definitely in the right location, so I imagine that's his check right now.
Yeah, so he'll be in go mode shortly. Meanwhile, Kirito is going to have to go through the rest of Swamp. And then he's going to have to go back to Trinex to get that Desert Small Key. And then he'll be able to finish the game. But until he goes back to Trinex, he's again going to be up against the wall.
Yeah, and Synack's gonna be heading straight towards Ganon right now, pretty much.
Yeah, he just needs to go put down Vitreous, and then he can head up to Ganon's Tower and all the way through the end.
Yep, Synack has officially unlocked his go mode, and he is going to be on his way. And with Butter Sword, Silvers, Half Magic, Red Mail, he is going to be more than ready. Also with the bonus of having 18 of the 20 hearts as well, so he's going to be more than equipped for the fight.
Yeah, and if he opens up that chest after Moldorm 2, he can even have a shield.
Oh wow, man. Just so much protection.
Well, we'll see if he makes the crazy play of searching the basement for the other 2.
At this point, I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, once you get past Laser Bridge, Mirror Shield is incidental, and Blind, once you get past Blind. Now, I love having the Fire Shield for Blind, but without, past Blind, there's not as much point for it. But that Fire Shield has really saved my bacon every once, on occasion.
Yeah, it's definitely a really good thing to have, especially for that blind fight. If you're not used to dodging all those fireballs, it's a good way to just kind of reflect a few of them here and there, just to kind of save some health.
And Synack says, "I'm not in the mood," and just decides to eat through everything in this room. Didn't quite get them all at the same time, but managed to save a little bit of time probably.
Yeah.
But again, he's probably worried at this point, thinking, that his opponent must be close to finishing. I mean, it's hard to tell in these races. He can't know that he has the lead until he outguns.
Yeah. And after he spent so long looking for that Ether Medallion, it's just like, he can't be entirely sure of just how his opponent's doing. At this point, he's seen EpikRainjer finish. He knows that, well, maybe Kirito got hung up on something. That's true, but at the same time, he did spend a long time looking for that Ether Medallion, so he just can't know for sure.
Yeah, this is the sort of run that makes everybody running it feel like they're extremely behind at all times. So Kirito's got his powder. We'll see if he gets his butter sword. And Synack just not even worrying about the damage because he knows he has silvers and he's not gonna. Well, I guess he's still gonna use cape strats, but it shouldn't be too hard with the cape, butter sword, silvers, and bow. Yeah, this is an easy fight.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I love the dashing through the Vitreous Eyeballs strat. It's not the fastest strat, but it's, I don't know, it's just so fun to just do that and just kind of like just throw caution to the wind. Like, okay, I'm just gonna stand back here and just kind of run back and forth.
So Synack is fully in go mode and on his way up the mountain. He'll be in Ganon's tower soon. It looks like Kirito is going to get his butter sword, but he's going to still need to go back up to kill Trinex to get his Desert Small Key, to get his Thieves Town Big Key to finish this off. Alright, so Kirito is making the play that he needs to make. So once he gets Trinex, he will be good to go. Or, well, not totally good to go, but he will be getting what he needs to finish up. Meanwhile, Synack's going to climb the tower with pretty much all the equipment you could ever hope to have, minus a shield. And should be facing Ganon before too long.
Yeah, it's always so nice going through Ganon's tower with just the lack of burden of looking for that big key. It's just very, very quick. Probably one of the quickest dungeon clears in Keysanity mode.
Yeah, it's pretty nice to just walk by every chest. Another one that's pretty nice to walk by every chest in is Gobo Turtle Rock, which is a completely different prospect in Keysanity than it is in Open, because in Open you still have to open a bunch of chests for keys, but in Keysanity you can go to the front door, just go straight to Trinex, just ignore everything. Everything. No chain chomps, no laser bridge, no roller rooms, just zip on through.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Is Synack going to stop and power this fairy, which actually messes with the RNG a little bit with these land molars in this next room. But if you have Butter Sword, you can just get like a double hitter in there, which sort of evens it out. Makes it a little harder to nail the silver arrows though, so it's nice when you have Butter Sword.
Okay, just to let you guys know, as soon as Synack finishes his run, we are going to immediately switch over to some Zelda 1 randomizer. So just letting you guys know that there probably will not be an interview because of that, but that is what is happening. So if you want to see more Zelda randomizer of a different kind, definitely stick around, because there's more to come, just of a different game.
And if you are enjoying this Keysanity, the tournament is only just begun. There are 4 more weeks of 100 matches each. So there's plenty of Keysanity still on the table. And once again, a shout out to our trackers, the Crazy Dude and Numberplay, and a shout out to my co-commentator Slim Kirby. It's been fun.
Well, hey, it's been fun for me too, so definitely thank you for joining me on this one. And of course, major props to Feasel and the Speed Gaming crew for just all the work they do, for not just this tournament, but for all the other tournaments and events going on Speed Gaming. It's incredible just to see, just to scroll down and see how much that's going on, and then like how much we show on these channels every single day. It's incredible, so they don't get enough love. So thank you for the many hours of entertainment.
Yeah, the admins are working hard behind the scenes, so thank you to all of you.
And yeah, we definitely would be nothing without all of our viewers as well, so thank you guys for joining us today and watching this match. It was quite the adventure. This was definitely a seed that is to be remembered. Maybe not for all the right reasons, but definitely a memorable seed in a lot of respects.
Oh, it looks like Synack will not be getting that shield after all. I imagine he'll be okay, though.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Kirito has gotten the last piece, well, the second to last piece of his puzzle that will lead him, hopefully, to go get his Thieves Town big key, and that will put him into go mode. So he shouldn't be finishing too far behind Synack.
Yeah, really. Honestly, like, he's done a great job. He kind of approached the logic in a slightly different way. And again, that kind of holding off on Pod, going back in for the Ice Rod and Silver Arrows definitely did waste quite a bit of time, unfortunately. But that happens in Randomizer. He was still able to get a lot done. And honestly, I feel like he was like the quickest. Like once he got the the keys that he needed, he was able to logically place together that, okay, there's something in Desert Palace, probably faster than all the other runners, so definitely props to him for his showing as well.
Yeah, the amount of options that you can have on the table with Keysanity, and a lot of them are just like 1 and 2 chests, it can be a little hard to try to figure out where to go next. But yeah, all these runners are props to all of them for putting themselves out there today and running this for us and participating in this tourney, regardless of skill level. It's nice to see new faces joining the randomizer.
Definitely 200 competitors. That's a lot of people devoting a lot of time for this tournament.
Okay, I was about to say, I hope he has a fairy, but it looks like he's going to pull the potion out pretty fast. Which should be about already out of phase 2, I think. He's hit him a lot of times.
You'll already see a huge difference in this fight compared to EpikRainjer a while ago. Just Butter Sword makes the whole process a lot faster and a lot easier.
Yeah, I don't even blame Synack for face taking through this a little bit and just taking some damage. And if he knows he has a potion, because it doesn't take that many hits overall, so it can be a pretty fast fight and easy enough to just burn 1 potion and be done with it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like he went ahead and got the torch glitch, and luckily that bat was luckily he was facing in a direction where he had a lot of room, because that bat was like not avoidable where he was standing.
Yeah, for sure. Gonna need to be a little careful with arrows, because he only has 5 left. Should be enough, but still, sometimes you get a little arrow happy when you're firing.
Yeah, he's gonna probably want to stop trying for doubles until he gets and just go for the singles. There he goes. He's down.
Alright, congratulations GG to Synack for finishing out this seed and being the winner of his match against Kirito5.
GG to all 4 of our runners. GG to EpikRainjer and Synack for winning their matches and moving on to the 1-0 portion of the Swiss bracket.
Yeah, and we're going to immediately jump off from here. Official SRL time, 3 hours, 1 minute, 55 seconds. We got Zelda 1 Randomizer on this channel, and if you want more Zelda 3 Randomizer, Link to the Past Randomizer, there is actually a match going on right now on Speed Gaming 4. Someone 325 versus Max Ketchums, and Kieran versus Zephylar. It's another quad race like this, so if you want more of this, head over to Speed Gaming 4, but if you want Zelda 1 Randomizer, stick around, because we'll be cutting to that very, very shortly. I'm personally going to sign out. This has been Slim Kirby, and I will see you guys for the future commentaries.
And I'm Recedador. Thank you for joining us.